Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. It is another fantastic Sunday. Easy for me to say. It's not always Saturday for the lumberjack landlord, like it is for Mike Zuber at One Rental at a Time, but it is Sunday, and Sunday is just as good. So, super excited to have you guys with me today. We are going to cover a bunch of topics specifically. As you guys know, if you've watched the channel for any amount of time, I am a 20-year real estate investor who has over 100 units that I self-manage. But I just started doing Section 8 and voucher program housing in the last 12 months. It started through acquisition. I acquired a property that actually had a voucher program or Section 8 tenants in it. They wanting to diversify my portfolio, started to go down that path, meet with the different housing authorities in the area, having meetings with them, conversation with them, understanding kind of what the requirements are, how they like to do things, et cetera, et cetera. And so now I've been doing that for about a year. I certainly have my opinions of the program as it stands now. I do it with multiple towns. And my general experience, I'm certainly here to share that here with you guys. You guys can absolutely ask questions. You know me, I'll shoot you straight. And just tell you exactly what my experience has been. And some favorable and some completely unfavorable, quite frankly. But would be happy to share that with you guys. Because I think that I think it's important to go into things eyes wide open. I like to learn from other people's experiences. Not that I then guaranteeingly don't do it if they were unsuccessful, or do it if they were, don't do it if they weren't successful. But I think it's important to have opinion, have perspective, and really kind of hone down on that as we continue to try to grow our business and help others grow their business. So so we'll be talking a little bit about the Section 8 stuff today. And kind of, 2022 strategies. I got my first deal under agreement for 2022. We went under agreement on Thursday. So super excited about being under agreement on Thursday. And we'll certainly talk about that deal, kind of just some general stuff. Inspections are this week. We actually closed, come to think of it, we actually closed on Friday. We closed on Friday on a deal. So we'll talk about that. So we'll kind of talk through that. Saws, I see, I don't know if they saw first. Saws ready, I see it. I'll definitely tell you exactly what my experience was, and something to kind of watch out for, stuff to watch out for, and stuff to make sure you have in order. It's interesting. I see the value of the program. I see that plenty of people abuse the program, abuse the system. Shocking, I'm sure. And I see why those units end up being usually dilapidated units. I can totally see it. I get it. I see the program. I see what my experience has been so far. I'm going to take you guys through it. Ask any questions you want. I'll tell you exactly the way it is. As you guys know, it's stupid of me to say, but my channel's not here for growth. It's really here to help the people out there that really want to do the work. Mike is pioneering that. Mike is full-time into, doing YouTube things, and I think that's awesome. But for me, I kind of hit you guys with videos on what I'm experiencing myself. If that's a value to you, awesome. If it's not, it's okay too. But I want to be here to help the next generation of investors, to help them get from 0 to 100 like I did, or at least 0 to whatever number. You can set yourself up for life financially if you do the 4, 3, 2, 1, quite frankly. That process and that investment strategy, there's no doubt in my mind 10 years from now that most of those people that did that strategy are millionaires. That's just the way I view it, based on math. I don't know if being a millionaire at that point is really going to be worth anything with the rate of inflation, but it will be better than not being a millionaire. Let's put it that way. So without further ado, we'll jump in. We'll talk some questions. And then, then we'll talk a little bit about Section 8 voucher program, my experience so far. If you are new to the channel, this is a real estate investment channel. I talk about my strategies. I talk about what I'm doing. None of this is advice for you and for your portfolio. This is always what I'm doing. This is just what I do. I know my own risk tolerances. I know my own budgets. I know my own cash reserves. I know all of that stuff about me. I know none of that about you. And so take that for what it's worth, because again, what I'm doing with my portfolio might be the exact opposite of what you're doing with yours. But I'm here to give you ideas, let you know what we do, let you know what's been successful, what we've tried, what's worked, what hasn't worked, because every market's different too. I was thinking about it. What was it? Friday when I was on with Mike, I was thinking about it with him, and he invested a ton of time in 2020, and walked away with 0 MLS deals and got 6 deals out of his network. And then in 2021, it was 5 deals and 4 of them were flips. He only kept 1 property in an entire year. And for us, it was our biggest year ever. We bought 10, we sold 2, and we refinanced 8. This year already, we've got 3 under contract, or that will close in January, and the first week of February. So we've got 3 already under contract, and we've got 9 more actually that we're refinancing. So at that point, I think we will have everything will have been refinanced that was anything older than 2 years old. And then the stuff that isn't, we'll just see kind of rate and term on that. I have not eliminated 100% of my variable fixed rate, because I still have some commercial loans, but I think I have only 4 of those. And so, rates are going to go up. Everything's going to be more expensive. And so we'll see what we need to do those, but I'm still in the heavy penalty phase of refining any of those, i.e. 5% or 4% of the overall value, which means I'd actually have to stroke a massive check just to get them out and get fixed rate debt. And that was kind of the difference between my stuff and Mike's stuff, and why I hadn't done all of mine and why he was able to do all of his. But let's jump in. Let's do all the good mornings. And super excited to have you guys here and to cover all this amazing stuff for you. So let's jump in. Know thyself first. Good morning, Sazready. Good morning, ML. Good morning, Edwin. Good morning. Yep. Tamika. Good morning. Dion, Amy. Good morning. John Hugan. John, give me a pronunciation. I like to always pronounce people's names right. So good morning. Saz is on the road changing locks on what will be his first Section 8. Good. We'll talk about Section 8 today. Matthew Paris, good afternoon. Good afternoon, even though it's still morning, unless you are in some island that I wish I was in. Tamika, good morning. Cozy Hill, good morning. John, Texas, good morning. Chris Desborough, morning, big dog, good morning. How old are you and what year did you start real estate investing? Chris, great question. I am 44. Yep. I am 44 years old. Yep. What year did I start real estate investing? In 2000, 2001. I'd have to look at the PNS, but yeah, 2001 is when I started real estate investing. I was very young. Yep. I was very young. The very first place I bought was a house hack. It was a condo. The only way that I qualified for that loan was by actually having a roommate under lease that was going to pay $1,000 a month in rent. That was the only way I could afford it. But I wanted to get into that property. I knew that I'd have a second bedroom. I had plenty of friends that lived in that area. So that's why that's what we did. That's what we did. So yeah, so that's how I started in real estate. That's what year I started in real estate investing. Janet Santiago, good morning. I'm doing well. Baby is doing great. We gave a quick update on our Thursday night live stream. So we appreciate every single thought and prayer we've ever gotten for obvious reasons, but we are super blessed to have so many people that have supported us through this journey. It's been an interesting year. Certainly, I'm not even been doing YouTube for a year now. My channel launched in March of 2021. So yeah, super blessed. Eliana had her scans on Tuesday, and I'm excited to report that all the cancer is gone. So kind of blowing the doctors away a little bit. Honestly, she has thousands and thousands of people literally praying for her every single day. And we've just been super, super blessed. And honestly, it's, God's given us the right doctors, the right plan, like everything has just worked amazing. And so, yeah, super blessed. She's cancer free. She has to continue her chemo treatments through to April. Yeah, through to April. And so, yeah, and then she will do a little bit of radiation therapy. And so May, June, I think we'll finally be off of quarantine. I'm hoping, because that will be, if it's June, we'll be just 2 months shy of a year that we quarantined. So I would really, really, really love to go out and eat a really nice steak at a really nice restaurant. And I'm planning something special. I'm planning something special for Mrs. Lumberjack and the kids. So we'll do, yeah, we will celebrate. We are grateful. We are blessed. And it's been as amazing of an experience as it can be having your child battle cancer. And so, yeah, so I'm not going to talk anymore about it because I don't need to start crying. It's been awesome. Eliana goes in, Ashley and Eliana go in for her treatment tomorrow. They're in for 5 days. And so it's super dad this week. Oh, it's tiring. Trust me on this. My mom was a single parent. I completely get it. She wasn't a single parent of young kids, but single parents of young kids, holy Toledo, I get it. I so get it. With Ashley being gone and I have the 4-year-old, the 2-year-old, my day job, and managing all the properties, self-management, managing crews in the field. It is nutty. It is absolutely nutty, but we are just immensely, immensely, immensely blessed. So we appreciate all your thoughts and all your prayers, and really, truly know that is the difference maker. It really, truly is. I can honestly tell you it is. My daughter was given an 8% chance to live in September. 8%. They said the prognosis is very, very bad. And they did not mince words at all. You could see it in the doctors' faces. And so it is amazing to see even the transformation in her doctors, see how well she's doing. And so, yeah, I really appreciate all you guys. I can't say enough about the community and what you guys bring. And so thank you. Thank you very much from the bottom of my heart. Our family is really doing well. So yeah, thank you guys. All right. So can you please talk about it? 30 days expense tracker spreadsheet. Yes. Yep. I can definitely share that, Janet. I missed that day. Yep. I had to work. Yep. Love your video. How to set goals. Yep. It's important to learn how to keep expenses before you go into real estate. Yeah, you really have to. So what Janet's talking about, guys, is there's the 30-day expense tracker. So I had made it, which was kind of its core. And then one of Mike's or mine and Mike's listeners, Roldan Crespo, actually took it and made it his own. He took it that next level. So I didn't take it that level for a lot of reasons. I didn't want people to get overwhelmed with what they saw. I really wanted to make it their own, and Roldan crushed it. He and his wife crushed it, making it their own. But he was nice enough to then share that back. And so that's going to be on Mike's free course. That will be in my course as well, but you guys can get access to it. That 30-day expense tracker, it's right there. You can get it for free. But yeah, just did an awesome job with it. Really, really crushed it. And knowing those expenses, you must become financially literate. You must. If you're going to make it anywhere in life, you must become financially literate. The only thing that I can tell you is maybe you use that to become a real estate investor. Maybe you don't. It's fine either way. but you have to become financially literate. That spreadsheet will ensure that you really truly understand the difference between needs and wants. It's amazing watching his transformation over the weeks and over the months. Amazing. He did a phenomenal job. They tracked every single expense, and you start to see things disappear out of that spreadsheet, which I love, because that means that they started to fine tune what they were doing. I love that. If you guys are new listeners or new watchers or new viewers, we're super excited to have you here. And so please don't hesitate. Feel free to hit me up with questions. And yes, that expense tracker sheet, Janet, is available on Mike's One Rental at a Time. Mike Zuber on his free course. That expense sheet is there and available to you guys to do your thing. As you guys, if you're new, please ask questions. We'll answer anything, or I'll answer almost anything. And as you guys know, ground rules, you will see me look at my phone often. I have a bunch of guys working today, electricians, demo guys, painters, cleaners. We have all sorts of folks working. Just so you know, we don't require that. We're not like that. We want people to figure out their own life work balance. However, we reward the hustle. And the hustle is, if they want work and they're trying to, get ahead in life, if I have work, I don't care when they do it. I'm happy to have them doing it. My network is my net worth for sure. So super excited. Tiffany White, good morning. Good morning. Good to have you. Dion, hey, there he is. Dion Talk. Good morning, Dion. Invest to Wealth, good morning. Good morning. Chris Desborough, in your market, how long does it take to fill an empty unit? What is the population of the area you invest in? Thank you. You're welcome, Chris. So how long does it take me to fill a unit? 5 seconds. And that's on a slow day. There is no inventory in my market. None. And that was always designed that way. That's why I invested here. This has always been a very, very, very tight market. So my vacancy rate last year over, we'll call it 80 units. My vacancy rate was less than 1%. Yep. I don't have vacancies. The population of my areas are 30,000, 20,000, and 5,000. 30,000, 20,000, and 5,000. Those are the 3 towns I do work in. Yep. Actually, one's 2 are cities and one's a town. So yeah, 30, 20, and 5. And typically in my buy box or my multiple buy boxes, there's typically 40 properties to choose from. Right now there are 2, and they're wicked overpriced, but they might get them. So we'll see. So yeah, it doesn't take me long to fill a unit. I also have a network now where I get asked probably 3 to 5 times a week. I get asked, do I have anything? If I ever have a unit that for some reason it's not renting, I can literally pick up the phone and I can call Section 8 or housing, and they'll fill it in 5 seconds. We put them through the application process, but that's not long. It's a day. We send them the application, they fill it out. We look at it. We do a couple of verifications, and then we're done. So yeah, not hard at all. Not hard at all. Kenny A, good morning. Hey, good morning, Kenny. Good morning from Indiana. Yep, good to have you. John, Texas, how much do you expect to complete a kitchen renovation to cost? Yep, same question for a full bathroom. Oh, John, that's such a big question. Holy cow. For me, so again, my numbers are going to be different than your guys' numbers because I partnered with a cabinet company, so they get all of my business. And I basically get cost plus shipping plus very little margin. Same thing with a granite countertop company. I pay $250 per slab on top of cost because they get so much business from me. I didn't start out that way, but that's the way it is now. Kitchen, it depends on the size. So I just did one kitchen. It cost me, it was 8 feet lower, 8 feet uppers. Decent, quality cabinets. and poles and counter and granite countertop and stainless steel sink, 10-inch stainless steel sink and new faucet. And I think all in, I was, including install, right around $3,000, 3,500. Yeah, and it's a nice kitchen. I'll show you pictures next week. I will show you pictures next week. Bathroom really ranges. Bathroom can range tremendously. Flooring, if you're doing tile. So when I do tile, I account for about $15 a foot between install and material. It's about $15 a foot for tile. When I look at a tub surround, typically a tub surround is about 80 square feet, give or take 77, 79, 74 and some, but I count it as 80 square feet. It is usually a tub surround, including material, and install of the Hardy backer board and waterproofing it and doing all of that work, literally dropping off materials. So guys just show up and do that. That project usually cost me about $1,800. That doesn't include the tub. That's just the surround. Vanities, I usually budget between $300 and $500 for a vanity. And then, yeah, $300 to $500 for a vanity. And then I use a standard toilet. I showed you guys that toilet. It's, I think, the Viper S toilet. It's $250. And then I use the polyurethane rings, the green ones. I love those much more than I like wax rings. And so, yeah, if you do that, so if you're not swapping out the tub and you're just doing the surround and the vanity and the toilet, and you're doing, I don't do tile floors anymore in bathrooms. I just use the LVP. I buy what I talk to you guys about all the time, that American Flooring Corporation stuff. And so that flooring is, call it $3 a foot for me. And then install is about $1.50 a foot. So call it $5. So $5 a square foot for install of that typical bathroom floor. They're going to be 80 square feet, about that. It's about the same as the tub surround. So, yeah, so 400 there. So let's see another YouTuber do that. So $400 on the floor, call it 300 for the vanity. So that's 700, call it 300 for the toilet plus including install. So that's 1,000, tub surround and all that work, 1,800. So you're 2,800. And then, mirror, call it $100, and then new ceiling, new fan, another $100. So you're about $3,000, I would say, if you're not replacing the tub. If you're replacing the tub, so for me, I like to get them sanded and sprayed. For me, that's about $500. So that would take your number to 3,500. If you're actually replacing the tub, usually a tub, I only put in cast iron tubs. I don't put in cheap garbage tubs because people are big. People will like slip and misstep and then their foot goes through it. I mean, I've just seen so many issues with the cheap tubs. So usually I'll put in a cast iron tub. And so that with install is usually a couple grand. So I would say my bathroom, if I have to gut it to the studs, it's probably, or if I have to gut out the tub and gut out the surround and swap out the toilet and the vanity and put in new flooring and put in a tub surround or vanity or tile tub surround, all in $5. So I'm saying 3 to 5. Kitchen. I've look at my video that I did. I think you'll love it. Look at the video that I did on lumberjack awesome project, I think is what I call it on my website or on my channel. But if you look at that kitchen was, I think, 12 or 14,000 bucks, and everybody that's ever seen that kitchen guesses between 18 and 50. And it's high quality. It's a nice kitchen. Slow closed doors, slow closed drawers, granite all over the place, high end finish. I mean, you'll see that kitchen, and so it's pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. So yeah, great question. Great question. If you want more information, let me know. Matthew Paris, what was Abraham Lincoln like? He was a good guy, generally speaking. Didn't have as good of a beard as I do, but nice enough guy, I suppose. I love it. Tenants so clueless that they had their packages sent to Amazon from Amazon to their old house. And he's, hey, can you check on that for me? Hey, no. Like I have time to go check on your packages. Honest to goodness. Honest to goodness, people. Come on. Like I have time for that. Squitorty. I know it's squat or die. You'll just always be Squitorty in my mind. So some good Russian porn. We'll remove that for you guys. There you go. I've never clicked on the link, but I can only imagine it's probably porn. All right. All right. Yeah, good stuff. Hey, Larry Chong. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Ethan Wood, house hacking was the way I got started as well. Very cool. Yeah, house hacking is the way to go, man. It's absolutely the way to go. There's somebody that I've been working with a little bit and talking to him. And he's a little bit discouraged. He's out on the West Coast. I get it. West Coast, super expensive. Quite frankly, the coasts are expensive. You know, in a dinky little 22,000 person town, we've got condos selling for $3 and $4 and $5 million. So yeah, it's ridiculous. But it's on the water. And New Hampshire has 17 miles of waterfront. And so it's crazy expensive because we don't have income tax, we don't have sales tax. And so a lot of people from other states that have those heavy taxes, they'll move here and they'll buy that really expensive real estate. And then they make it so I can't buy my oceanfront house. I'll get one someday. Oh, yeah. John, okay, cool. Okay, good. Awesome. Thanks for trying. Yeah, no problem, John. Good to have you here. Squatter Die, after a long family talk, we decided to move to Texas from Southern Cali. Yep, in the next 18 months. Cali is dreadful for a family of 4. Cost of living ain't pretty. Yeah, Squatter Die, I get it. I get it. I got lots of friends out in the West Coast. Hold on one second. Contractor. Let's see. Something else. Oh, yeah. Awesome. Yeah, I agree. I got friends on the left coast all the time, and the pricing is absurd. Yeah. Westlake Village, holy Toledo. The stuff that they were showing me, and they're like, yeah, that's $1 million. And I was like, what? That's nuts. So yeah, I get it. I see the costs all over the place, but yeah, I think so Texas, that's broad, right? You could be Dallas, not Fort Worth. You could be Dallas, you could be Houston, you could be Austin, you could be San Antonio, could be any of those places. So yeah, very cool. Very cool. Yeah, I love Texas. I had a lot of family. I have a lot of family there. So yep, love it. Angel R. Hey man, Angel, good to see you, my man. Been a few weeks. Squatter Die, grateful to hear your daughter beat cancer. Yeah, she's cancer free. She is cancer free. So very grateful. Tamika, praise the Lord. Couldn't agree more, my man. Couldn't agree more, Tamika. Appreciate you. I know you were praying all the way along, so I really appreciate that. But yeah, super, super, super awesome. Just immensely blessed. And you know, it's amazing seeing the look on the doctors' faces, because they knew up here what she was in for. And yeah, amazing. So yeah, very amazing. Thank you. Squatter Die, gratefully here, dog beat cancer. Yep. I agree. Best news of the day, Janet. Yep. It was a really good week. It was we've just been super blessed with the process. That's all I can say. It's a peace that knows no understanding. It really has been amazing. Few times you have to catch yourself, with overthinking it. But yeah, we've been super blessed, very much so. Matthew Paris, my average is about 10 days to find a tenant, and we are extremely picky on who we let in. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I'm picky too. It's just the number, like just the sheer magnitude are just, it's nuts. It's nuts. So I see a lot more people joining the live stream. Super excited to have you here. If you've never been here before, please ask questions. That's what we're here for. As you can see with some of the questions up above, everyone will ask anything, and there's really nothing off limits. There really isn't much off limits. I don't talk about net worth. Or what my monthly nut is from an income perspective. But yeah, I'll answer pretty much anything else, but that's about it. Invest to Wealth. When is your course starting? As soon as I finish recording it. Oh yeah. Eliana threw that a little bit of wrench in the works, my little nugget. We were on track to have everything done before the end of the year. And once she got diagnosed and we became kind of a stay afloat family, we thrived, we did great, and we did, we still did a bunch of projects. But the course took a little bit of a back seat just because, by the time everyone's in bed, and then I finished running the business, I'm tired. So I try and go to bed. Yeah, that's what we usually do. So again, if you're new here, super excited you joined us today. Feel free to ask anything. Matt Herbert, good morning. Hey Matt, good morning. What types of things changed for you when you transitioned from a small landlord to a bigger landlord? More money. So I think honestly, guys, I feel like we got big this year. In this last year, we were only about, if you look at start of 21, I think we were 60-ish units. And in just the last year, little over a year, we got to 100. And it was really, I mean, as you can imagine, that was buying a lot of property, but it was the two big ones. It was a 9-unit and a 12-unit. And so that was 21 units between the two. So that instantly, right? Like just our normal deal transactions, normally would have gotten us about 10 units over the course of a year. That would probably be like 3-4 transactions. But yeah, this year was kind of just off the charts just because with the transition, a lot of older landlords just saying, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm not going to deal with all the ridiculousness of the rules around eviction and the rules around managing tenants. And it just got too much for a lot of the guys that were just like, I can't do this anymore like this. And so it was an awesome opportunity for us. Surprisingly, I was only able to do one deal where I was able to get them to pick up any of the costs, i.e. seller financing, where they seller financed part of it. And quite frankly, with my refi coming up with those 9 properties, I'm going to write that guy a check. I'm not interested, quite frankly, in doing business with him anymore. It's kind of a tool. And he was a total slumlord. Within the first week of owning the building, we had 48 maintenance requests. 48. Because we sent them a letter, but clearly he didn't take care of anything for the last 6 months he owned the place, or 9 months he owned the place. And so there was a lot of work to be done there. We're getting through it, and we've done almost all of it. So that's been good. But again, if you're new to the channel, feel free, guys, ask questions. And there's no dumb question. There really isn't. We want to hear any and all of it because we want this time to be valuable for you and help you. So yeah, the biggest change was cash flow. And because we haven't, usually a lot of our properties, we would go in and we'd get them empty. And so we would either gut them or redo a bunch of things before people moved in. So we didn't have any maintenance issues. Now we have significantly more maintenance issues on those products, on those properties, because we bought a lot of stuff with tenants in it. And so that's why we're getting the list from them. We're working through those lists and kind of getting them happy, and getting them to the place where they should be. We're just getting them to the place where they should be, where they're respected, the unit's respected, things are taken care of, and then there's no longer maintenance issues. So we've gotten a lot of lists. We've worked our way through a lot of them. But I kid you not, we probably had over the course of 90 days, probably 200 maintenance requests. And so it was keeping my contractors very busy. And these are not employees. These are 1099 guys. So I just said, hey, just bear with me, give me as much time as you possibly can so we can kind of hammer through those lists. So yeah, it was a lot of work. And then the biggest thing that changed is we had to get to a different property management system. Had to. The old way of doing things was not going to work. It was taking too much time. And so we just bought a property management system we went under contract for. And the data prep for that alone took 25 hours, just the data prep. So they can then basically pull in all of our stuff. So yeah, that's the biggest difference. Mark Oshiro, good morning from Hawaii. It's cold this morning at 68 degrees. That's awesome. It is. When I woke up this morning, it was 10 degrees Fahrenheit here. Now it's 29 and it's going to be snowing, but it was 10 when I woke up. It was very cold and very windy. And so it was below zero wind chill. Oh, it's brutal. People from here always say, why do I still live here? Oh, and some people are like, oh, it's because my family's here. That sounds like a reason to move away to me. I'm kidding. If family's watching, it was just a joke. Relax. So yeah, so pretty funny stuff. Cody Evers, good morning. Hey, Cody, good morning. Larry Chong, 1% vacancy is awesome. Yeah, thank you. It is. Was that top factor when you R&D where to invest? So what was part of the factor? So that's a great question, Larry. Really good question. One of the factors was every single time I went out and looked for units for rent, there wasn't much. There weren't hundreds of units to choose from. There just weren't. Now in my market, there's probably 100 units to choose from, but 80 of them or 90 of them are in the brand new buildings that are wicked expensive that will never, ever, 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 ever be able to touch what I can rent stuff for, ever. If you can see this is really water. I'm not Dion. He does that better than I do. If I were teaching people how to drive a heavy rig or a big rig, I probably would drink too. I wouldn't do well sitting in the passenger side. That would not do well for me. How do you go about finding average rents and vacancy rates when researching new areas to invest using 4321 method? Larry, those are two amazing questions. Well done, Larry. Well done. So I always use, I don't like Rent-A-Meter. They're just getting to the point where they can give you a 90-day snapshot. I don't even want a 90-day snapshot. Rents are moving so fast that they're moving faster than in 90 days. They just are. It's kind of like what we saw, 6 months or a year ago, where every single new sale of new property was breaking the next record. It's kind of like that with rents right now, because rents always lag behind property values. So that's what I'm seeing continue to jump. What's really interesting about that is I look at where I post for rent. So sometimes it's apartments.com, Zillow. Believe it or not, almost every renter that we pick is on Craigslist. For us, Craigslist really works very well in our area, because we have a younger population that is more geared towards that, and as well as we're going to start doing Facebook Marketplace. We did one unit on Facebook Marketplace, and it got like 400 hits in a weekend. I thought we got blasted by a bot, but it was like 400 hits in a weekend. It was nuts. Yeah. And then that unit ended up renting for like 12% more than what we even had it listed for, just because somebody was like, I have the great credit. I mean, they had everything. They had the great credit. They had the cash flow. They had the savings. They were just like, we just don't want to buy right now. Oh, come on. Come to the lumberjack landlord. Come to me. Yeah. Yeah. I got a place for you. Yep. So they were awesome. So I look at Craigslist. I would look at Facebook Marketplace. And you can look at Zillow and things like that, because a lot of realtors will post stuff to Zillow. And if they're posting stuff to Zillow as a rental, usually they're rental agents. You can do some research on them and see how many rentals they've done. If they've done 5 in a year, their number doesn't matter at all. If they've done 25 in a year, like a couple a month, then their numbers really matter. They're usually tapped in. I'll also pick up the phone and I'll call some people. I'll call brokers. Hey, what do you think about this property? Hey, do you have somebody for it? That's not what I'm saying. That's what they're saying. Hey, oh yeah, I could probably place somebody there. Yeah, no, no thanks. I just don't. Why would I pay 75% commission when I can fill it myself in 5 seconds? It's not a big deal. Cody, so glad to hear she's doing well. Thank you, Cody. I appreciate that. Yeah, me too. Me too. We lots of in the beginning, lots of crying. I got most of my crying out in the beginning. But yeah, Eliana is awesome. In fact, I can probably get a special visit from her. And then all the kids come in. Yeah, it's a good time. So yeah, so that's good. Hawaii single family median is now 1 million. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I have friends whose wife is from Hawaii. And so they go out and they visit once a year family. Or every other year, sorry. Every other year they go out and visit family out there. And my buddy's just like, the numbers are insane. Yeah, totally get it. The funny thing for us is, that's like the perfect vacation spot for West Coasters, right? For East Coasters, we have the Caribbean. So it's like stuff that's within a few hours, like 4 or 5 hours, like Aruba. You don't really probably want to own in Jamaica. But tons of vacation, but Caribbean for us. Yep. Caribbean for us for sure. Mickey Blount, good morning from New Mexico. Hey, Mickey, good morning. Super excited to have you here. I don't know that I've seen your name before, but if I have, I apologize, but super excited you're here. And feel free to ask any questions. Chris Desborough, what is my day job? I am a vice president of a software company. I've been in software for 25 years. I'm so old and tired. Yeah, 25 years I've been in software. So I will be retiring soon. I haven't picked when. 45,614. That's the day before Mike retired. He retired at 45 years old, 6 months and 15 days. I retired 40. I expect I'll retire 45,614. At least that's what I keep on telling him. I got to beat Mike at something, Yeah, so that's good. Theta Hedge Capital. Morning. Hey, good morning, Theta. Merrick. Oh, hey, good morning. Merrick's back. Good to have you. Chris Desborough, what is my 100 units? Chris, that's a great question. What does my 100 units consist of? So my 100 units is predominantly small multifamily, duplexes, tris, and quads. I have a couple single family homes in New Hampshire. They don't really make sense financially. I can't remember the last one that cash flowed well, like more than 2 or 3%. So most of my portfolios is 2s, 3s, and 4s. So I would say I've got a 12, I've got a 9, I've got a 6, and I've got an 8. So a little over 30 units. So I'd say so, and those are my only properties that are more than 5. Those are my only more than 4. So I've got 30, so about 30%, a little over 30% of my portfolio is, kind of what would be considered commercial 5 through 25. Or 5 through 20 kind of is that. And we don't have the same rule that California does. You don't have to have somebody on site managing if it's 16 units or greater. We don't have that here. So that's what my portfolio consists of. About 35 buildings. So what, 4 of those? So 4 buildings take up about 30% of my, 4 buildings take up about 30% of my rates. I own a ton of duplexes. That's what I love. That's the asset that I love. One of the reasons I love that asset is because in a couple towns south of me, I watched the transformation in that town happen with side-by-sides, where you used to be able to buy the side-by-side for $400,000 or $500,000. And then they were selling each side for $300,000 to $400,000. And now those sides are $600,000 and $700,000. I believe the same thing will happen in this town. It's going to take 20 years, but I believe the same thing will happen in this town. For me, the rents though, again, cash flow, cash flow, cash flow. I'm not buying based on, appreciation. It's in the back of my mind. I like that specific asset for that reason, but they also cash flow crazy good. You used to get a huge discount on a unit. So if a house, single family house rented out at 2, the duplex, if it was the same bedroom count, might rent out for 14. Now that house rents out for, 3 grand. Well, guess what? That duplex now rents out for like 26, 27. So it's maybe a 10% discount. So that's why I do those. Yep. That is why I do those. So yeah, great question. Kenny Kim, good morning. What is your typical mortgage rate in terms with your properties? So the everything that I've refinanced was either 4.25, was less than 4.25. Everything I refinanced was less than 4.25. On the 9 that I'm doing now, the dude locked up rentals or locked up rates at 4% on the entire portfolio. 9 deals. 11 deals, 9 refi, 2 purchase, but I locked in 4%. Yeah. Amazing. I was so pumped. Oh my goodness. Like, talk about life changing, right? Imagine locking in at that rate. Dang. And that's the thing, is most of those were at 5%, or they were worse, which was they might have been 4%, but they were commercials. So in 5 years, they were going to reset, and it was reset like +2 or reset plus 1.5. So it was not going to be good. I mean, I could have been looking at 6 easy, 6s in the 6s to 7s. If what I believe is going to happen happens, 6s to 7s. Yeah, man, crazy. But yeah, 4.25 on 8. On this 9 was 4. I already had some in the 3s. I have some in the 3s that weren't part of a big refi. They were smaller refi, just like I think 3 or 4 properties in the high 3s. And for an investor, that's crazy hard to do, especially fixed. For an investor, that's very hard to do fixed. But relationships, the bank knows my business. They know me. They feel comfortable with what I'm doing. I don't get overextended. So yeah, so far really good. Jonathan Disla. Hey, Jonathan, I don't think I've seen you here before, but super excited to have you. My wife and I are planning on moving to another state in 3 years. Yep. But we want to start house hacking this year. Yep. Would you recommend to still go ahead with house hacking? That's really personal preference. I think one of the things that I would do going into that process is I would look at sorry, you really threw me for a loop, because there's so much to that question. If I were looking at it myself, I would say, what state am I moving to and how far away is it? Number one. Number two, if it was far away, I would start looking and trying to understand what managing remotely looks like. Number two. Number three, I would not count on being able to sell. I would not count on that. Because I think in the next 3 years, I think rates are markedly different than where they are today. That will eventually adjust pricing on houses. And when you sell a house, you have to create 8% just to cover your closing and selling costs for agents and things like that. So let's just say the market's really good and you can still sell it. You're going to have to be at least 8 points higher than where you were to even be able to break even. So I would consider that. Yeah, those are the top 3 things I would consider. So I couldn't tell you. If it were me in my shoes and I knew I was moving away, that's the toughest part, because I don't know, based on my portfolio, I don't manage remotely, but what you would be doing is having to manage remotely. And so if I were in your shoes, I would talk to somebody that manages remotely, really understand that process and that concept, because that may fit your personality. It may not. But I obviously love the idea of house hacking. Like, that's how most of us get here. So yeah, totally get it. Tony Carr, good morning. Hey, good morning, Tony. Good to have you here. Marco Shero, as the buyer, besides a slightly higher monthly payment, do you see any big negatives of using seller assistance to have less money coming out of pocket? No. Nope. Unless it's all about what the terms are attached to that seller assistance. Using seller assistance. Yeah, no. So the deal that I helped my student do, or a student do, my student at the time, the deal that I helped him do was a fourplex where he was going to have to be 18,000 out of pocket for closing costs and such. We looked at it, paid over, got them to cover 10,000 of that. So he was only $8,000 out of pocket on a 4-unit. $8,000 out of pocket on a 4-unit because the numbers still worked with it being $8,000 versus the 18. So the numbers still worked crazy good. He's living in one of the units for free. The other 3 units he's renting out. He's making about $1,000 a month. That's a killer deal. I'll take that deal every single time. Tiffany White, has there been times that you had trouble locating deals? Oh, for sure. Or times you continually lose deals because of multiple offers? Watch my reverse offer strategy. I win a lot more than I lose. Even in this crazy climate, I won a lot of deals with my reverse offer strategy. A lot of deals. And I was never, ever highest and best. I was never the highest price ever. Nope. Not in any of those deals that I won was I the highest price. I got people to consider other things that were important to them. Whereas if I could get in the ballpark for price, I could give them other things that meant more to them than the extra $5,000, $10,000. So watch my reverse offer strategy video. It's all in there, and I crushed with that strategy. I won a lot of deals, inventory is lower than I've ever seen it here in my area, Nashville. Yeah, Tiffany, same here. I'm usually, at the beginning of the broadcast, I was talking about, typically we have 40 to 45 of the properties in my buy box. There's 2. How's that for inventory? I mean, 95% less inventory. It's crazy. So guys, if you're new to the channel, super excited to have you here. I'm Lumberjack Landlord. I self-manage 100 units with my wife. And that's not one building with 100 units or 2 with 50. That is 35 buildings. And we have about 100 and actually it's over 200 tenants now. We used to have 160. Now it's 200 and something. We're working on the new numbers now because we just had to do all of our data prep to get everything loaded into the new system. Oh, what a brutal pain in the ass that was. So yeah, watch my reverse offer strategy, Tiffany. That will help you crush it. Matthew Barris, at Mark Oshiro. I get it. It was brisk 74 degrees in Florida coast this morning. Yeah. Whatever, guys. Whatever. Crimson Knight. Hey, good morning, Crimson. How are you doing? Justin Lord, good morning. Good morning, sir. John, Texas. I watched your kitchen rental video. That's a great kitchen. Did you sell that place or rent it? I sold that place. The reason that I sold that place was because if I refied it, I was only going to be able to pull out about $75,000 if I refied it. And then if I refied it, I would only pull out 75 and I'd only make maybe like $150 a month. It was too tight for a beautiful home like that. So because I sold it, I actually walked with like 260. I lived there for 2 years. So my tax liability was basically zero. It was zero. Because it was my primary residence. I used that 250 recycling capital. I used that 250 to go. I think I bought our new house that we lived in, but I did a much smaller down payment than that. I still had over 100,000 left, and I think I bought 2 more properties. So yeah, yep, I did not rent it out. The numbers just didn't support it, and I wanted to get access to the 250, not to the 70 or 75. So yeah, great question, John. John Williams, you turned 45 this year. I do. I turned 45 this year. Yep, I do. Wolfmaster 82. Good morning. Good morning, Wolfmaster. Matthew Paris, do you or any of the other 3 amigos know anything about overseas real estate investing? My wife is from Ukraine. Oh, very cool. and she has a few flats in the family that will be passed down at some point. Very cool. My family is also from Ukraine. I know Dion doesn't yet. I don't think Mike does either. I don't think they own anything overseas. Not yet. Dion, if you're still on here, feel free to chime in. I know you don't own anything overseas yet, but I think that might be something that's on that he would consider doing. I think usually Dion takes a month off. And I think this year in 2022, I think he's taking 3 months off, where he just disappears for 3 months. He's always good about making sure he has Wi-Fi on Thursday though, for the Three Amigos. So that's cool. But yeah, I don't know if that's in his plans. I know that was in our plans for a while. We looked in a couple of places, Costa Rica, Guatemala. Yeah, we looked in a couple of places. Yep. Because we wanted kind of beach living for the kids. Yeah, I don't particularly care to be in the ocean. I don't particularly care to be in it. I don't particularly care to be on it. I want to see it and I want to hear it, but I don't want to be in it or on it. It's kind of my thing. So yeah, very interesting. Yeah, would love to know what's going on with Ukrainian real estate. I would love that. I would so love to learn about that. That'd be so cool. Thoughts on heat pumps? Had a conversation with someone from NH Saves as part of the weathering that they can work in minus 15 degrees and keep an old boiler as a secondary, claim better savings than a boiler. Yeah, I don't think so. Crimson Knight, I don't think they have better savings than a boiler. They do make low degree heat pumps now that are decent. I've installed a couple of them. They were significantly more expensive. But yeah, no complaints so far. They've been good so far. Yeah, no complaints so far. Is NH Saves, Crimson Knight, is NH Saves back open again? I know that they shut that program down. I know that shut that program down for a while. I think they used the funding because they were getting crushed on people not paying their bills. Matthew Paris, we are also thinking about buying another unit here. Yeah, or there, another unit there. Oh, very cool. Yeah, I would love to know what the rules for Ukrainian real estate are. In fact, if you guys find out what all the rules are for Ukrainian in real estate, you have an invitation on the show. I will love to interview you. I would love to know about Ukrainian real estate. Julie Anderson, you need more orange flannel. Yeah, Julie, tell me about it. Tell me about it. I get it. I've already got 4. I need more though. One of them, my favorite one, is like this fleece lined one. When it was like 7 degrees a couple days ago, I wore that thing and it was awesome. I love that thing. Yeah. I've got to leave here in a minute to go do a tenant, to go do a couple dump runs. Yep. From a garage, a tenant just left. Thankful he's out. Oh, good for you, Julie. I'm glad. Yeah. I had one of those we just did too. We just filled up a 30-yard dumpster from a specific tenant. What a jerk. It's all right. He'll get acquainted with my attorney. Send him a little love note. Crimson Knight, install cost might not be a factor because tenant supposedly has NH weathering program that would install for free due to her heat assistance. Oh, very cool. Yeah. Just make sure you know the details of what that is. I think there might be something attached to them still renting the unit from you. And then if they leave in a certain number of time, blah, 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 just check that black and white. Make sure you see it. Don't take their word for it. Just make sure you see it. Shar, good morning, Shar. Cash flow, agree. Stop using the 1% rule in Florida. The 1% rule should not be used anywhere. Do not use that rule anywhere. That rule sucks. It's outdated. It's completely outdated. Watch Dion talk financial freedom. Watch Dion's channel on the 1% rule. He's done on either we talked about it at length or it was like an off topic on something. Dion, remind me if you have a video on that. I know that we've talked about it. I can't remember if it was on camera or not, but yeah, that 1% rule is stupid. It sucks. there's far better rules for managing real estate and buying real estate than the 1% rule. There's a lot of deals that work that shouldn't, and then there's ones that don't that do. So yeah. Cray Bloodworth. Hey, Cray, I know that name's new. Good morning from Indiana. Super excited to have you here. Where in Indiana? Let me know. Janet Santiago, Panama is a good place to invest. Beautiful beaches. Oh, Janet, that's awesome. That's awesome. I didn't know that. I never even considered Panama. Janet, do you own in Panama? Tell me. The Riley A-OK. Hey, it's been a while since I've seen you. What flooring do you put in your rental basements and main floors, carpets, or laminate? Never, ever, 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 never, ever. In case you didn't hear me, ever do I put carpet in ever. I never, ever, 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 ever put carpet in. In fact, I had a holy cow moment when Mike Zuber said that he put carpet in his rentals for a number of years. Never, ever, 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 ever do I put carpet in my units. Ever. Ever. Carpet is right from the pit of hell. If you put carpet in your units, you will unreasonably have to charge your tenants cleaning fees because they will likely never clean it like it should be. Pets, forget it. They get a pet in there that they shouldn't have had in there, and then it sucks. It's awful. Nah, never, ever, 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 ever carpet. Smells like people that cook a lot or use a lot of oil when they cook or use a lot of spices when they cook. That smell gets in there. No. Dirty people. Nope. No, 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 no. And you can't section carpet very easily. Nope. Nope. Laminate vinyl plank, LVP. Laminate vinyl plank. In fact, we'll give Marty the flooring guy some business. These are the products that I use. Laminate vinyl plank. Very nice product. This is commercial. This is residential. And yes, you can use commercial and residential. Pad on the back. See, high quality pad already on the back. And thick. Good quality, thick product. I have installed over 10,000 square feet of this. I have purchased, we just got our order in. I think I've purchased over 20,000 square feet of this since July. And love, 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 love this product. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. If you want to tell them the Lumberjack sent you. They've got stuff that they take care of us on. Marty, the flooring guy. He's not a sales guy there. He's actually one of the principals there. He's amazing, amazing, amazing. His phone number, and this is direct to him. This is a cell. Don't call him early in the morning. He's West Coast. But his cell is 725-212-8610, 725-212-8610. 725-212-8610. You can tell him the Lumberjack sent you. The Lumberjack landlord sent you. He will take care of you. He'll get you a sample box. You can go to their site. You can see what samples they have there. But yeah, check it out. Again, they don't pay me for promotion. I just let you guys know, hey, this is a vendor that we use. This is product that we use. We put a ton of that product out there. In fact, last week, I think we installed 2,600 square feet of it. It was a crew of 3 guys. They were busy all week long doing 3 different places. Love that product. Love it, love it, love it. So yeah, hopefully that helps you, Riley. Chris Miller, Matt, can you talk about how you are financing your deals, the products your lender developed for you and how you were able to do that? Oh, hey, Chris. Yeah. So they didn't develop it for me. I had to work with them to develop it because I told them what I wanted. And they were an awesome, awesome bank. And so we worked together to create that product. So how am I financing deals? Through a bank. How did I get them to do that product for me? So I had gone to them and said, listen, I'm buying a lot of 2s, 3s, and 4s. They're not commercial properties. They're really residential properties. I haven't used my 10 loans from Fannie Freddie. So let's use those. And if we use those, then I can at least max those out and get those 10 deals into Fannie Freddie, right? So the downside was hit my credit, obviously, because now I've got $3 million worth of mortgages on those 10 properties. Or no, it wasn't 10. Yeah, it was 9. It was 9 because I had one. So it was 9. So it was 9 properties. It's a little over $3 million. I think 3.2 or 3.3. And so first I maxed out those 10. Then after I did this, I then went back to them and said, hey guys, so I've maxed out my 10. I still have stuff left in my portfolio that I want to refi, but I have more that I want to buy. So when we talked about more that we wanted to buy, guess what happened? I said, I can't use you as a bank anymore. We have to think of something. So I told my broker, actually she's a VP, SVP. She's amazing. She is spectacular. She's truly in my top 5 favorite, excluding my kids and my wife. She's truly one of my top 5 favorite people. She's absolutely spectacular. Adore her. And so we just had, one second. It was awesome. It was so good to talk to her about it. And she's like, all right, well, let's see what we can do. So she's like, let's put together a plan. So we put together a plan. I said, here's all the numbers. This is what we need. These are the 7 that I want to refi that are still residential properties, 2s, 3s, and 4s. Here's 2 I want to buy. Let's put that product together. Oh, I forgot to take my phone off of buzzer. I know. So we went through that with her. She absolutely was awesome in what we did. We put together the entire package, then brought it to somebody known in the bank as the senior lender. The senior lender then says, yeah, the idea is good. No, the idea is bad. He said, yeah, the idea is good. Then it had to get approved by their board because they are a bank and they do have to, have a standard, right? But here's the cool thing. They approved it because they knew that I couldn't do any more business with them as a bank, and that I had more business that I could keep with them, and my business makes a lot of money. So kudos to my banker, kudos to my bank. They're a small community bank that wants to continue to invest in the area. That's why I always tell you guys, small community banks, at least 2 locations, up to 6, 7, 8 locations, 9 locations. Small community banks that are typically launching a branch in that area where their service area and always their charter is to impact the local community. If it's in the local community, guess what? That's their charter. Because that's their charter, they're far more likely to look at a deal and go, yeah, I mean, yeah, we want to do that deal. We're trying to grow and make an impact in the local community. That's why that stuff works so well. I know this is amazing information, so I'm really wondering why I only have 21 likes. Seriously, guys, 21 likes? So anyway, I think that the biggest key that we can all look at is when you're looking at those small local community banks, their charter is to invest in that local community. They're more likely to give you something off label. But now this is a product that I think that they're going to capture a lot of business with us. Now, there's still going to be 3 criteria, still 3. One is you have to have maxed out your 10 Fannie Freddie loans, have to have maxed it out because they want to know that you don't have another lending alternative, right? Second thing is the numbers still obviously have to work on the house. They have to. Third thing is, that I believe I'm not 100%. There you go. Whoa, look at those likes jump. Thanks, everybody. I appreciate that. The YouTube algorithm, and this is just so we can help people. So the third piece is, I believe, but I'm not positive, it's either a 25 or a 30% down payment. But as an investor, you have to expect that it's going to be 20, 25, 30. It's going to be 25 or 30. That's the first place where you start to see banks pull back, is the amount of down payment they'll allow, right? Because they want you to have more skin in the game. So these local banks, a lot of times they'll never carry paper on a deal that's a 3.5% down FHA loan. If they're going to carry the paper on a deal, which means hold the mortgage, they're going to want 20% down on resi. So that's the biggest difference that in that program that I have that others might not. It's the biggest difference. Yep. And again, that was for, let me think, property starting at number 33, refinancing 7, but number 34, number 35, we did with that program as well. So I see a bunch of people have jumped on. Love to have you here. Super excited. I'm the Lumberjack Landlord. I manage over 100, self-manage over 100 units that I own, no partners except for my lovely wife, Mrs. Lumberjack, who you can see on Thursday nights at 8 p.m. here with me, where we have a lot of fun. And she talks about how she's cost our business millions of dollars because she did want to get on board. I'm just kidding, babe. It's just a joke. Kind of true. Anyway, super excited to have you guys here. All right, so let's see. Let me just go back through carpets, Chris. So yeah, so that's the update on that, Chris. In fact, guys, if you're a local investor, Northern New Hampshire, or excuse me, New Hampshire, or Northern Mass, kind of Boston up, and that program is something that can be useful to you, hit me up, lumberjacklandlord@gmail.com, lumberjacklandlord@gmail.com. I'm trying to show the bank that they did the right thing. And so I want to help them get customers. The more of us that can use a product like that, guess what? The more innovative things they're going to do for that product. Just saying. And I'm locked in at 4%, 30-year fixed. Oh man, 4%, 30-year fixed. Oh, just get giddy thinking about it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Yeah, so good. Larry Chung, do you and Ashley track your self-managed time spent? Oh yeah, absolutely. Yes, we do. When we have to go out and drop off product at a property, when we have to go like, bleed an oil system, when we have to go, whatever it is, when we're going out to those sites and doing maintenance, we absolutely clock it. We clock it from literally just like a plumbing company does. We clock the time that we spend and any parts, things like that we need. Sometimes it's something that we can fix right there on the spot. Other times it's we got to reach out to a contractor and give them all the detail and have them fix it. So that's where it really ranges. So yep, absolutely. So yeah, we track all of it every single second because Ashley's a real estate professional. So we have to track it, right? So for us, and I think it's 750 hours a year. And so if you break that down, it's, basically it's like, I think it's 16 or 17 hours a week, I think is the number. 16 or 17 hours a week, right around there. So yeah, she's a real estate professional. Yep. She has to track all that stuff, every bit of it. Also, how many weekly hours do you both work as a VP and an RN? Oh, good question. So Ashley retired from being an RN. She didn't retire. Oh, she sort of retired. She kind of retired. She retired. Yeah, she retired. Not forever. I don't know. Leave of absence? I don't know what you call it. She loves being a nurse. She's an amazing nurse, but now we've got 3 kids. And I married her. We're a team. I want us raising our kids. And so I loved my wife enough to marry her forever. So I want her around the kids as much as she can be, and then me. So she retired from being an RN. She hasn't worked as an RN for just about a year. About a year, she gave it up. And so it was all around the conversation of being around for the kids, but also being able to self-manage and do the real estate professional thing. And that takes a significant amount of time, even with 60 units. So yeah, she does probably right around that. Some weeks are, some weeks are 12 hours, some weeks are 25. So, she comes in around that average, around 750. We didn't do the total yet. We're working on our taxes now. We just had other bigger fish to fry. Most of our taxes are together. We're just kind of putting all the blocks together, if you will, so we can hand it off to our CPA. But yeah, that's what. So yeah, as a VP, I work 40 to 50 as a VP. I'm a global VP though. So, sometimes I do calls at 2:00 in the morning because it's other time zones. So we have customers in the Middle East. We have customers in Australia. We have customers in the UK, South Africa. Where else? Those are the other big areas. Yeah. Outside of the States and Canada. Outside of the States and Canada. Yep. Yes. Yep. So yeah, so Ashley does 0 hours as an RN. So all of her time is real estate professional. Yep. And watching the kids, which is, if you have kids, you know exactly how time consuming that is with a 4, a 2, and a 6-month-old. So 9-month-old, sorry, 9 months. Cool. Hey, if you guys are new to the channel, super excited to have you here. Feel free to ask questions. As you guys see, I just go through rapid fire, go through the questions, but making sure to give you the answer and kind of how we think about things and, etc. John, Texas, do you put carpet or laminate in the bedrooms? Oh, no, sorry. Did you ask that? Okay, yeah. So only laminate. Area rugs. If they want area rugs, Home Depot makes great area rugs that are like a couple $100 a piece. They can buy them. They can buy those area rugs. Then you have a pretty design on the floor. You have pretty paint. Everything is nicely designed. And I don't want to replace carpet or clean it, because literally to get a really professionally cleaned carpet when somebody moves out, it can be $500-600. I don't want to hit their deposit for that. They can get area rugs. They can spend that money. They can have whatever design they want, and they get to roll the thing up and take it when they leave. And so for me, doing those floors, maybe if there's a broken piece, I got a section in a piece or piece or two, but then I only have to charge them $40, for the labor and material. I don't have to charge them, $500-600 for dirty rugs. Because even in the nicest, even for our house, our kids really don't do anything but sleep in their bedrooms, or go there for timeout. Or my favorite word, punishment. And so they don't really do anything in their rooms. They don't have anything in their rooms that are allowed. But yeah, I do not do. Nope. LVP, nothing else. LVP, way it goes. That's what I use. Niles Patel. Hey, Niles. Hope you're well. I'm doing great. Thank you, Niles. Asked a question once about major foundation drain pipe repairs after closing a deal, and if title insurance covers you for those types of repairs. I don't know. I don't believe so. I think title insurance is only on the actual title itself, i.e. if they find that the title was not properly discharged or not properly done, or there was a lack of proof of ownership, or that sort of thing. I believe title insurance only covers you for those things. I don't believe it covers you for any of those repairs. I could be wrong, and I'd love to hear it if you hear something different. Would love to hear it if you hear something different. Dion Talk Financial Freedom. Yeah, the 1% rule, flawed and outdated on my channel. There you go, guys. That's why, Dion does an awesome job at creating that evergreen content. So 1% rule, flawed and outdated. Fantastic, Dion. Awesome. Crimson Knight. Not yet. House unanimously passed the bill last week to fund NH saves for the end of this year. Yeah, expected to be passed and signed by Snudo by end of January. I love my state, right, Crimson? We love our state. We love our state. Our state is awesome. They listened. people complained and said, hey, listen, you want us to continue to buy the more expensive stuff that is more energy efficient? We'll do it. But we were looking for some sort of a rebate. And so they did it. Good for them. That's awesome. I hadn't heard that yet. But that's awesome. Unanimously passed. Smart. Very smart, guys. Very smart. Craig Bloodworth, Terre Haute. Oh, cool. Thanks for doing the live streams. Yeah, happy to do it. Thanks for attending. Thanks for asking questions. It's kind of boring if I just sit here talking to the screen all day long. What do I put on the stairs? Great question. That is one area that I will allow carpet if it is a couple stipulations. I will do an 8-pound pad and I will do an extra plush carpet on the stairs in where the stairs are on the party wall, which is the shared wall between duplexes or even quads. I will do carpet and padding on the stairs because people are allowed walking up and down stairs. The only case where I won't do that is if the stairs aren't on the party wall. And then I'll take the 9-inch vinyl plank, I'll rip it the long way and I'll cap it on the end. Yep. And then you're not spending $40 plus carpentry work, plus the spindle work for a new stair tread. I just saved you $100 per stair because that's about what it comes out to. If you figure the spindles are usually $5 to $7 a piece, usually the stair tread's about $40. That's 50. It's at least an hour's worth of work, at least, to pop what's there, put the new one in, put the new spindles in. And then on top of that, that's usually an unfinished stair. So then you have to poly it. Yep. It runs about $100 a stair. To sand them if they're old and to just sand them, it's usually $30 or $40 a stair to sand what's there if it's old. But again, if it's on the party wall, it's going to be noisy. People are like, oh, I can always hear people running up and down the stairs. So party wall, 8-pound pad, extra plush carpet. That works. It does. Craig Bloodworth recently purchased a duplex in Terre Haute. Very cool. Both sides, 2-1, 850. Wow, 850 square feet, big for a 2-1. Separate basements with hookup. Rent is still $475 from, holy Toledo, $475 from over 15 years ago. How would you go about raising rent to today's standards? Craig, you came to the right place. I didn't do a video on this. I have a modified version of it myself, but I would start with Dion Financial Talk. Dion, honest to God with this, right? Dion Financial Talk binder strategy. Dion Financial Talk binder strategy. It's right there on his site. I want to say it's a 15-minute video, 13, 15, 20 minutes, somewhere like there. Binder strategy. Look for it on Dion Financial Talk's channel. It's a phenomenal strategy. The only modifications, basically at a 50,000 foot view, what that is it is looking around to see what the rents in that neighborhood are for that same quality product. And then basically presenting that to the tenant. That's what I do, is I present that to the tenant and say, hey, listen, over on Silver Street, it's this, Green Street, it's this, Ash Street, it's this. This is what the rents are going for a quality product like this based on what I've seen online. Feel free to take a look. But they're 1,400, you're at 900. I want to give you the opportunity. I know you'd love to stay. If you'd love to stay, that's awesome. We'd love to keep you. And this is, again, if they're good tenants, I'd love to keep you, but we can't stay at 900. So if you can figure it out, what works for you, feel free to look around, but I go to them typically 60 days before their lease expires, 60 to 90 days before their lease expires, have them give me that input. And a lot of times they'll get pretty darn close to that. They'll think they're getting a great deal at 1,300, and they are. They're $100 below market, but I'm 400 higher than where I was, and they're happy. That's the thing that I love about Dion's binder strategy. That's the thing that I love, in that approach, is that we want the tenant to be happy and feel like they won. We do. And we want to win too. If they're a good tenant, we want to keep them. And so we don't need top of the market rent. I just had a tenant leave though over they were paying 11. The going rate was 16. I basically did that, and they essentially stopped communicating and moved out and didn't tell me. And I just found out this morning. What the hell? Whatever. Honest to God with people, they literally just decided to split. And I'm like, okay, that's nice. So yeah, that's what we ended up with. At the end of the day, it's fine. Like I'll make $500 more a month with a new tenant. And the new tenant that gets it will actually not think I'm a jerk. They'll actually, because the other guy was just like, that's ridiculous. I was like, that's what the market is. You tell me what you feel comfortable paying. And he just didn't say a word, didn't also give me any notice about moving out. Bye-bye deposit. So yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, that was actually one of my Section 8 stories. He wasn't even paying the lion's share of it. He literally split with no notice, and he's not even paying the lion's share. What a bunch of garbage. So yeah, Cray, Dion Financial Talks, Dion Talk Financial Freedom. And make sure that you're part of our Three Amigos of FI on Facebook. If you guys aren't in that group, you guys absolutely should be in that group, because a bunch of people post stuff all the time. And it's all landlord stuff. So be a part of it. Ask your questions. There's a lot of experts that are on there that actually will answer you, or other landlords that have been through the same exact thing. I can't tell you enough. You gotta be in that stuff. You gotta. Remember, the flooring can withstand the katana. It's good stuff. Crimson Knight. So Crimson Knight is one of the frequent viewers of the channel. He actually is in my state. Manchester is where he owns property. And I think maybe Nashua too, but I know Manchester. And he took the flooring that we sent and he actually hit it with a katana, and said that he had to hit it like 9 or 10 times before he gets something to chip out of it. So for those of you who might be renting to ninjas, that is very valuable advice. But it took quite the abuse. It did not stand up to when he shot it. Of course it didn't stand up to when he shot it. But then again, most of us aren't renting out to people that are opening up a shooting range in their house. So I think you're probably safe. But if you're renting out to ninjas, there you go. It will withstand the power of the katana. Did really well. Invest to wealth. How many hours it took your guys to install the laminate flooring? I don't know. I don't know how long it took them, because I don't pay by the hour, I pay by the foot. And so I can't go, I'm not in the job in the morning when they show up and I'm not there when they leave. So I don't know. Yeah, not sure. They make a lot more $1.50 a foot than they would by the hour. That's for sure. Because I would guess that it would probably be, let's say it's $20 an hour per guy. So $60 an hour. So let's just say it was the full 40 hours. So it was 120 hours. Or no, it would be 40 hours. So it'd be $2,400. So yeah, it was, I think $2,800 is what I paid them. And that's if they were $20 an hour. But again, when they're crews like that, they just show up and they fly. And then this is not to be racist, so please don't take it as such. What I've found is that there's certain nationalities that gravitate towards certain skills. This is just what I found in my area. Almost all of my sheetrock guys are from Mexico. Almost all of my landscaping guys are from Guatemala. Guatemala and Puerto Rico. And all of my flooring guys are from Vietnam. What else? And my carpenters are usually just Caucasian guys, is what I've seen. That's been my experience for me. We're obviously not going out and saying, you must be X to get our job. Nope. We just do it based on pricing. Pricing and relationship. Pricing, it kind of starts out with, we don't pick the cheapest, but we don't do the most expensive. We just have conversation with them and how we feel comfortable. And then we try them out for a job. If they do a good job, they get a second one. If they do a second good job, they get a third. If they do a third, they get a fourth. At that point, they've done 4 good jobs for us. At that point, they're my crew. They're the guys that I will always get the phone call. And so long as we agree on pricing, we'll stick with that. And then we just move forward from there. But that's so far been my experience. That has been my experience. So yeah, so I don't know how long it took. Kenny A, Cray Boldworth. I'm also from Indy and Terre Haute area. Oh, very cool. Cool, Kenny. That's awesome. Emma K. Wow, what did that carpet ever do to you? Emma is one of our very favorite real estate brokers that we use. She's absolutely fantastic, great attitude, works super hard. We used her to do a bunch of rentals. Fantastic. She did a great job. Her and the team did a fantastic job getting them filled quickly. She was amazing with online presence and social media presence. She did a great job. Great job. So the carpet never did anything to me, Emma, except for smell and need to be cleaned. And that was time and money. So yeah. Crimson Knight. Oh, he gets points for listening. Yep. Do carpet on the stairs. Yeah. When it shares the party wall, I'll do carpet on the stairs. If it doesn't share the party wall, we'll use that laminate and we'll nose it. We'll put a nose on it. Just because we want to cut on the noise. Dustin Corey, I was told yesterday by my banker that Fannie and Freddie have reduced the amount of investment loans to 4. Is that true? Is that per bank or in total? That would be total if they have reduced it. It was 10. They did reduce it to 4 in the Great Recession in 09 and 10, but that would be amazing news if they did that again. Because then you're capped. You can't get another loan after 10. You then have to start doing commercial, non-QM loans, or seller finance deals, sub 2 deals, or find a bank, local bank like what I talk about, or finding a local bank that's willing to carry that paper for you and do portfolio. So yeah, that'd be crazy if that were true. That'd be shocking that they actually got there to that point. That's what happened in the Great Recession. They could be buckling up for that to happen again. Quite possible. Yeah, quite possible. Wow, we're halfway through the show. Awesome. Well, guys, thank you so much for being with us. If you're new here, please feel free to ask questions. Super excited that you are here. And as you guys see, any questions open, I'll give you my input on it just based on what I would do. I'm not saying that's advice for you, but that's what I would do in that situation. Yeah, Lumberjack Landlord, that's my name. And we invest in over 100 units. And we've been doing this for over 20 years. So I lived through the .com bomb and the Great Recession. Made it through both of them. The Great Recession sucked. The first part did. Thought that was going to turn us belly up for a while. But we made it through. Didn't lose a property, didn't have a late mortgage payment, but it was scary for a long time. So yeah, so Dustin, I would follow up with, I would call another bank. That's what I would do. And I would start Googling it to see if that's something that's been released, because I've not heard that anywhere. It doesn't affect me, but I still talk to bankers and brokers probably 10 or 15 times a week. So yeah. Pallavi Patel. Hey, Pallavi. Good morning, everyone from Illinois. Good to see you. Crimson Knight, should I sell all my units? Nick made a video where he called Manchester by name is going to crash 20 or 30% due to property tax increases. All right. So Nick is an idiot. I'm sorry. I can't play with this guy anymore. He's a moron. He's wrong. He's flat out wrong. Demand, supply and demand. Supply and demand. Supply and demand has an undefeated record. That's what Mike Zuber and I talk about all the time. Supply and demand is undefeated. He's an idiot. He's an idiot. There it goes. There's not enough housing. Maybe in 2 or 3 years when they brought out a bunch of, thousands more new units. Yeah, maybe. But their cost basis for those is so much higher than the older stuff that's existing. The average age of a home in Manchester, New Hampshire is like 100 years old. That's the average age. That's how much old product lives there. It's insane how much old product is there. There was a ton of stuff built in the late 1800s, early 1900s, and then leading into the Great Depression. Like, he's just so wrong. He's just wrong. He's wrong. If he's going to be that bold and say that that's going to crash 20 or 30%, yeah, I'll go out there and I'll say he's wrong. He's wrong. It's not going to crash 20 or 30%. Me particularly, I don't really like the Manchester market because there is a lot of there. That's a city. There's like 120,000 people in Manchester. Yeah, not for me. I invested there years ago. I didn't really like it. It's a blue collar city. That's not why I didn't like it. I didn't like it because um, it was the tenant pool there was tough. I had a tough time with the tenant pool there. Yep. Yep. Yeah, he's wrong. Nick from Reventure Consulting is who I'm talking about. 20 to 30% due to, again, he says why? Due to property tax increases. Crimson Knight, humor me. Your taxes were what last year on that building, and they're what this year on the building. And that's going to crash the market 20 or 30%. It's ridiculous. My taxes went up on average in the state of New Hampshire. They go up really, really fast because that's where our income tax comes from. We don't have an income tax. We don't have a state sales tax. So they get their money to run the government from property taxes. Because they get their money from that to run the cities, guess what? That's the thing that goes up the fastest. However, that leading to a real estate crash is stupid. It's just dumb. And why? Because the taxes on a building might go from 5,000 to 7,000, or not even that much. A 20% increase, 5,000 to 6,000. It's less than $100 a month. That's going to crash the market, moron. It's not going to crash the market. And if you're ever on his channel, I don't care if you give him the penny. Quite frankly, that's more than what it's worth, but I don't care if you watch his stuff and give him a penny. Here's what I would say. Cool, whatever. Have him debate me. I challenged him. I've said, you debate me and you get more people to agree with you than agree with me, an actual real estate investor. If you get more people, I'll give $1,000 to any charity that you want. And he doesn't even have to do it on his channel and embarrass himself in front of his followers. Come to my channel. Come on over. We'll have the conversation. He won't do it. He won't do it. I've tried. He's like, we can debate right here. I was like, yeah, I send you questions and you're like, no, that's not right. Yeah, it is right. You don't know what you're talking about. You're reading charts and graphs and expecting charts and graphs from the past to predict the future. If that was the case, how well did you do on stock picking this last year? Right? Like, how overinflated is that market? So is the housing market overinflated? Yeah, sort of. Why? Because you got 40% more money than was ever printed in history, printed in the last 18 months. So yeah, money's chasing that. Money's chasing that. It's just, but at the end of the day, a cash flow deal is still a cash flow deal. And if you can get 30-year fixed money, yeah, that's what it's about. Like Karoma, that guy's a dummy. And I didn't get out of high school. Yeah, Crimson, I knew you were joking. But yeah, thanks for raising the point. I didn't watch his video yet. I got to watch his 2022 goals or whatever he says 2022 is going to happen. I'm just interested so I can give you guys perspective on what somebody that actually has money and real estate actually thinks about what he has to say. So yeah, it's just craziness. It's absurd. I see you have any idea how many things I get to my email box, people talking about the fact that they watched his stuff and held off. You know what they missed last year? They missed 23% gains last year. That's what they missed last year. You know what they're probably going to miss this year? Single digits, but they're still going to probably miss 5, 6, 7%. So 30% in 2 years. And worst part yet, they're paying rent in their unit and they don't own anything. Yeah, good job, Nick. Well done. That's not going to be for every market. There will be exceptions because there are always exceptions. But yeah, let's just talk about an entire real estate market in the US. It has nothing to do with the price of tea in China. Honest to God. Yeah, anyway, Laura teaches. Hey, Laura. Hi, Lumberjack. I really like your 4321 model. Awesome. I'm now looking for a quad. If I put 20% down, I'll have little saved for a triplex and the quad doesn't pencil out. How do I get the second property? So you're going to have over a year to save. That's the big thing, right? So in an up market, you will have the ability to refinance, potentially pull out equity after you've done some improvements and also gotten in there and raised rents. Because what I'm always looking for on my properties is not necessarily the market going up. I'm looking for the ability to raise rents based on what they are currently and what they're selling the house for and what I can actually get the rates to increase to. So, excuse me, the rental rate. So that's where I would tell you is that the best thing that you can do is look for that undervalued asset. Look for the one where they're saying, yeah, rents are $4,000 a month and we're selling the building for 400,000, but you've done your homework and you know rents are actually 13 or 1400. Because what did we just do? We just created more than a whole nother unit's worth of rent, but that's profit that goes right to the bottom line. So that over the course of a year, 18 months, that will put you in a position where maybe you can refi, maybe, not guaranteed, but maybe you can refi. And if you're doing owner occupied, there's no reason to put 20% down. That's the beauty of it. That's why my 4-3-2-1 strategy, you can actually get into about $1 million worth of property in my area for less than $60,000, between 50 and 60,000. The way that you do that is you buy that very first one with an FHA loan. When you buy it with an FHA loan, obviously all the numbers still need to work, but now you're only putting 3.5% down instead of 20% down. You likely, if you have that 20%, you likely will have more than enough money to go do that one a year from now. So hopefully that answers the question. So you should pretty easily be able to attain that third one without having to do some sort of a refi. Really good attendance today, guys. Last week, I felt like a bunch of people were asleep. So really good attendance and great questions. Really good, guys. Wish we had this crew every weekend. You guys are fantastic. Good, good, good. BG Ack. Hey, BG. Never seen you before, but excited that you're here. Title insurance is to cover issues with title. Yep. Yeah, I thought so. Thankfully, I've not ever had an issue with title. That wasn't, I had one where it was a robo signer, but it didn't have it. But the title insurance policy didn't have to be used. It was just something that the bank was able to clear up. So, and the closing attorney or the closing company. So yeah. Brandon Bernola. Hey, Brandon. Love the show. Thank you. I appreciate that. We just closed on our first SFH. Good for you, my man. Good for you. Single family home rental. I love it. The tenant was supposed to be out of the house 2 days after closing. However, they just informed us that they aren't leaving till February 1st. Really? That's nice. What should we do? Should we have them sign a month-to-month lease? Should we collect rent for January? We are new landlords and feeling a little bit powerless. Yeah. So I don't know the rules in your state. If that happened in my state, I would get them to sign an agreement saying that they would be out by the 30th, and that, you know, that you would get a writ of possession in my state. So we did that with somebody. They basically were like, yeah, we're not leaving, you know, and they hadn't paid rent. And so we're going to go through the big, long eviction process. The problem is if you go through that eviction process, they can be there for months. Not in New Hampshire, but in most other states. But the federal assistance time, they can reach out to them. And if they get approved for assistance, you have to take it. And I didn't want them to stay as a tenant. So we actually crafted something. I got something from my attorney where it was just like, you agree to pay weekly for rent, and you will be out by the last day of the month. And if not, then I can file for a writ of possession with the sheriff's office and essentially bypassing court. That's what worked in New Hampshire. I have no idea if that'll work in your state, but that's what I would recommend doing. Any real estate attorney or any eviction attorney should be able to answer those questions if you give them to you on the phone based on what state you live in. And they shouldn't charge you for that either, because that's part of the consultation. And then you can say, hey, listen, wanted to consult with somebody and have a conversation with somebody because we might need to hire you. If you do that in that kind of that first half-hour block, it is a very good chance you will get that time for free as a consultation. And then they'll decide whether or not then you can say, yeah, whether or not we're going to hire you. Sometimes they charge, sometimes they don't, but right now, there's nothing stopping them from not leaving, right? And that's what we don't want. We don't want people staying that aren't paying rent. And I guess my other question too for you is, why would you want them not to stay? That's the other question I have for you, Brandon. Andrew Wilkins, good morning, Matt. How's one of the best beards in REI doing this morning? Thanks for asking, Andrew. It's good. It's good. It's not bad. It's not bad. A little bit unkempt. I got to make sure to spend some beard time tonight because, in all honesty, with Ashley going to the hospital for 5 days with the baby, my kids are going to be like boom, 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 all over me. And I have to work. And I've got, I think, 13 contractors in the field doing work this week. It's going to be a busy, busy, busy week. So yeah, thanks for asking. Rob, Matt, I have to rewire my 1940s duplex, and the electrician suggested we strip all the drywall and replace versus tearing channels in the drywall and patching. Any experience doing this? Rob, you come to the right place. Yeah, man, I've done it. So this will offend people. I'm sorry in advance. I'm trying to do it without cursing. Sorry, Rob. Other contractors love to spend your money because you know what? Trenching for him is a huge, colossal pain in the ass. It just is. It's a pain in the ass. It takes a bunch of time. However, I would get a number. From, it depends on if you're texture walls or untextured walls. I would be getting a number from a sheetrock company to come in and take a look at that. And I would get him to quote it both ways. One, brand new, fresh rewire, not trenching, everything ripped out. Two, not trenching or trenching. I would get the electrician to do exactly the same thing. And then if you're not doing the work yourself, you're gonna have to hire a demo company, and you're gonna have to hire a demo company, dumpsters. You're gonna have to pull a permit. And for more than just the electrical, you'll have to pull a permit for construction at that point, because you'll be re-sheetrocking everything. And once you open up that wall, you own it. Once that wall is open, if you have an insulation issue and you need more insulation in that wall because there's not enough to code, and you get an inspector that's like, yeah, R19 is not acceptable anymore, it has to be R21. Guess what? Now you just foot it. Now you're gonna have to foot the bill for all the insulation. Rob, tell me what you think. Tell me what you think, Rob. Oh, I wasn't that far off. Cool. I was starting to get nervous. I saw the blue arrow, which meant I had a lot more questions. So yeah, Rob, tell me what you think about that. Pallavi Patel, any opinion, advice on Sampan versus O'Leary of combination of drainage water and outside water existence drainage? Don't know how to explain, but only learn that combination from one of those services. Pallavi, I'm happy to answer your question. I don't know exactly what scenario you're giving me here. Versus O'Leary of combination drainage water and outside water exists drainage. Give me more detail, and it's okay if it's a couple of paragraphs. Crimson Knight, the shooting of the floor was for my fellow landlords in West Manchester, where you never know. West Manchester. So if you're looking at the city, I know that Crimson Knight might argue with me on this one, but West Side's probably the roughest side. It's the most city-like. It has the most gun violence. Yeah, it was that way maybe 5 years ago when I owned there, but I sold everything I owned in that city. That's so funny. Crimson, you kill me. That's awesome. Yeah, it's good. Craig Bloodworth, thank you. Going to watch the binder strategy after the live stream and going the Three Amigos. Awesome. Very cool. Yeah, Craig, that video that he put together is awesome. It's awesome. Like I said, that's kind of what I do. I like that he has more of a formal thing of presenting the binder, and that he does it in person. For me, what I found is, I think a lot of people don't do well because that can be seen as confrontation. I like being able to literally just leave it with them, let them think on it, and then answer questions. And so I feel that even taking that pressure moment, because I don't want them saying a number right then or any of those things. I really want them thinking about it, giving them options, and just saying, hey, is a week enough to think about it? Or 5 days enough to think about it? Yeah, sure. That's good enough. That's over the weekend too. Okay, cool. Let's do a call next Tuesday. Let's talk through it and let's kind of go from there. Or you can always send me a text or an email with what you're thinking. I like that. It's just me, just my opinion. Yeah. That's just Dustin Wachter. I think that's name. Dustin, super cool to have you here. I think your name sounds familiar, so you might have been on my live stream before, but happy to have you. Currently, you've been living in a duplex house hack. Yeah. Looking to scale to 4 to 6 units. Okay. Best question, best property management software for small investors. I don't know. I didn't use one. So the best one so far, we went through a 9-month process. We really liked Door Loop is the one that we picked, but that's for bigger landlords. Minimum fee is like $280 a month. Smaller one, I've heard, I don't know this, I've heard Stessa is really good, but we used spreadsheets. We used spreadsheets for a long time because there was almost any time we're talking with our bank or working with our bank, they would just want us to send us, oh, can you send me a spreadsheet? Yeah, sure. Mm-hmm. Yes, I can send you a spreadsheet. Yes, I can. So yeah, Stessa is one that I've heard. We used for a while, we used a Quicken Property Manager. We used that for a long time. That was pretty good. Yeah. Yep. I love it though. House hacking. Keep up the good work, guys. From the Wachter families, from the Wachter family. And if I'm mispronouncing that, say so. Crimson Knight 921. I forgot what about what taxes were last year through the building I just bought went up 17. Yeah, 17% due to reassessment. Yep. Was expecting 10% yield even with that increase, but because even I underestimated rent, it's 16%. Like I was saying, right? So you just took the numbers, math, which is my favorite thing. Crimson Knight did the math, and what did it show? It showed one thing. It showed me that Nick is an idiot because 17% increase due to the reassessment. His property was reassessed because he just bought it. Most properties don't get reassessed every single year. Most towns don't reassess every year. They usually assess either A, on computer models, or B, they do a real assessment typically every 4 to 5 years because it's so expensive to reassess an entire city. Or they'll do it sections of the city, they'll do a section every year as opposed to the whole entire city. So even with a 17% increase, he still has 16% cash flow. Guys, I mean, honestly, that's why I said 17% increase in taxes. I said 20. Let's just say it's 20, and 20 is a lot in any one given year. Is it possible? Sure. It's more likely on something that you've bought, renovated, and now you're having it reassessed. Yeah, in that case, you almost guarantee you can expect 20 or 25 in New Hampshire. I don't know about anywhere else, but yeah. So again, the numbers don't weigh out just like I thought they would for reventure consulting. Jerneel Diaz, good morning, Matt. Hey, good morning, Jerneel. What kind of faucets and light fixtures do you use? Great question. So I use faucets are usually Delta or Kohler. Yep, Kohler's a good brand. Delta is also a good brand. Lights. I like either the LED, they're about an inch tall, the LED lights, if you only have one fixture in the room. Me personally, that's one of the areas that I actually will spend some money every single house that I do, is I will have my electrician drill 4 holes and do the pancake lights. Actually, do I even have one of those? I might have one of those on my desk. I don't. But the pancake lights I love. They come with little arms on the side. You fold them in and you click them into a harness. You just toss the little box up there and put them right in the hole in the ceiling. They're awesome. They're awesome. And if you buy them at like Home Depot, they're like $12 a piece. If you buy them online, they're like $8 a piece. And I use the 5,000 lumen light. It's most natural for your eyes to sunlight. And so people don't complain about that haze. So that's what I use. How about that? And I watched awesome lumberjack flip video you recommended with the home and the river in the back. Cool. Absolutely awesome job in that kitchen for 12K. Yeah. I crushed it on that kitchen. I mean, again, it's relationships, people that I know, and I didn't get like special favors on that. That's my normal pricing, but yeah, I did that kitchen for, I think it was like 12, right around 12K. Yeah. Really good. Rob. Well, it's Cali. So most of the walls are not insulated. Okay. We will be doing the drywall ourselves, patching or replacing. Okay. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Um, Resheet an entire house. I mean, that's expensive now, you know. I just got a resheet quote for like 17,000 bucks. And I think 2 years ago it would have been like 13 or 12. A lot higher. A lot higher. Karen Mulner. Hi, Matt and fans. Yep. Closing on my first single family in a few weeks. Awesome. Excited and nervous. Completely expected. What is your preferred way to collect rent? Totally get it. Yep. Thanks for all you do and keeping your family in our thoughts and prayers. Thank you very much, Karen. Watch the beginning of the video. There's some pretty awesome news there. Or on the Lumberjack Landlord video, Mr. and Mrs. Lumberjack on Thursday. My favorite way to collect rent is whatever gets the tenant to pay on time. So we do, here's all the things that we do. Checks, money order, cash, ACH, Venmo, or PayPal. Those are all the ways that we collect rent. It really depends on the person. There's also Cash App out there, but I haven't used that. So I don't know. But all those other ones, those are all ones that we use, and we get a couple hundred payments that way. Between Venmo, PayPal, all that stuff. Yeah, it's a couple payments. Or it's a couple hundred payments. Yep. Because we'll have large places that are like 5 adults living together. It's not rented by the room. Everybody's on the same lease. Everybody's joint and severally liable on the lease. The only thing that changes, the only thing that we do there is that we do allow them to pay separately, because that sometimes can be an issue. So through Venmo. So for sometimes I might get paid $500 or $600 a person. The unit rent is $3,000, but they'll pay me $600 each, and do it that way. Yep. That's the way I did it. Yeah. So yeah, all those work. I mean, when I'm first starting out, again, it really just depends on what's easy for them. Yep. Just depends on what's easy for them. Crimson Knight, speaking of assistance, you were right about NH Housing paying almost anything to stop an eviction. Person, once your application goes through, tell us what the new rent is and we'll pay it. Crimson Knight, who hooked you up, my man? Who hooked you up, Crimson Knight? The Lumberjack Landlord did. I'm telling you. It's crazy. Crazy. Yeah, just is what it is. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I've got 3 more units that they're going to rent that they want. I'm helping people. They're helping people. Yeah. Will they turn in a year or a year and a half? They might. And so I have to keep that in mind from a business perspective. But yeah, just awesome opportunity. If you guys are new to the channel, I'm the Lumberjack Landlord, manage over 100 units. Super excited to have you here. Folks are asking all their questions. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to answer your questions. I think some people got tired when we hit the 2-hour mark. A bunch of people are bouncing. That's all right. Doesn't hurt my feelings that much. Pallavi, thanks. In Michigan, it's Old Town, has very, very old properties. Yep, we run into that all the time here for sure. But whoever does rehab, the old style drainage is left as is. If you are using utilities, laundry, and the water runs in deranged meets to the drainage line comes from outside, and to stop the outside water from coming in, there is a flap between inside drainage and outside rainwater versus drainage. Oh, I think I know what you're talking about. They're those little things that sit on the side of the house where they actually have the downspouts pouring into those. And then that goes into your main drain for your house. I think I know exactly what I think I know exactly what that is. Yeah. Depending on the town, they outlawed them. So they actually make you pull your gutters out of there and fill them with concrete. Just do yourself a favor, use a really, really stable concrete so it doesn't fall all the way down into your main drain line. That can be expensive. But yeah, yep. Yeah, I'm familiar with that process. Yeah, we have cast iron here. And so cast iron gets old, it gets corroded, it starts to what's called seep. And so I have a bunch of houses where I still have that old cast iron line. I have some where it's been cut out and we've gone PVC throughout. So it really depends on the condition of the line. That's what we kind of look at. And so based on the condition of that line, we then kind of make the decision of should we go PVC or not. Like I said, probably 80%, 80 or 90% of my properties still have that old cast iron line. The only thing that they will make you do, like I said, is they'll make you disconnect the downspouts from the ones that feed into that line. So yeah. So yeah. Matt Herbert at Dustin. Yep, cool. I love that. Love the guys helping out. Yep. So the Herberts have 14 units, electronic lease signing, online payments, maintenance tracking. Very cool. Yeah. So they use Cozy. Okay, cool. We are evaluating Rent Ready right now. It has comparable functionality, but adds Latchel integration. Yep. Which could be game changing. Yeah. So Latchel is basically a company that does kind of management for you. Richard McGuff. Hey, Richard, I don't think I've seen your name before. Super excited to have you here. Tenants want to renew the lease, but they contact another place asking to apply. They're avoiding complete screening, saying they are busy with 3 kids. The lease due end of February. What should I do? Tenants want to renew the lease, but they contacted another place asking to apply. They're avoiding complete screening, saying they are busy with 3 kids. The lease due end of February. What should I do? I don't know. Honestly. So if it were me in my state, I can give 30 days notice on a month to month tenant. I would probably give them 30 days notice. So if you're like, so when was the date again? Sorry, let me just double check. So let's renew the end of February. Yeah. So if I were in your shoes, what I would do is I would, for me in my state, knowing me and my state's rules, I would give them I would say to them, I'm going to give you a 30-day notice. If I don't have an answer by X date on the new lease, that's what I would do. And that way it's 100% on them. That's if you've agreed on pricing. And if they haven't responded, in my state, I can give you 30 days notice if you're month to month. So if you are 30 days notice and you are month to month, I can give you notice that I'm not going to renew your lease at the end of February. But because you have buffer time, which is good, it at least gives them the option. If you've agreed on new pricing, if you've agreed on what the new rent is, it at least gives them the option, and that will stop them from getting to play games. And if they don't, then you knew that they were out anyway, and you probably need to start making plans to get the next tenant in there. So at that point, I would start, you start marketing it and getting your pictures posted and that. Let me know what you think about that, Richard. But that's what I would do if I were in your shoes based on my state laws. Let's see. Pallavi Patel to the drain. Yep, to the drainage. Yep. Okay. So yeah, we covered that. Rosales. Hey, love your channel. Thank you so much. Thank you for the info. Would love to attend seminar with you. Yeah, cool. I think that Mike from One Rental at a Time is talking about that. So we'll see where it ends up. He talked about like a world tour. I don't think so. Not anytime soon. But yeah, I'm open for that stuff. Yeah, especially after I retire. JC Blast. Hey, JC, good to see you again. Howdy. How do you see any markets with good cash flow now and future appreciation? So JC Blast, I'm not going to blast you, but I don't do appreciation. I don't care about appreciation. I don't. Doesn't help me do a deal at all. I picked my market when I picked it 15, 16 years ago. 16 years ago, 2017 years ago, 2005. I picked my market in 05, 04, 05. I picked it because the other areas south of us were extremely expensive. And once you cross this bridge, it got much less expensive, like half price. But I knew that that bridge in the next 3 to 5 years was going to be completely rebuilt. It was going to completely change the dynamic and change the game. It did. People that couldn't afford there started moving then across the bridge to us. So for me, I look at, I want to be, for me, I want to be within 30 minutes of anything I buy. I looked at it and I think we're more like within 15 minutes of anything I've bought now recently. So anything that we buy, we want to be super close because we self-manage. We want to be able to put eyes on it when we can. And we want to be able to do drive-bys, not creepy drive-bys, but drive-bys, generally speaking, just drive-bys. We get to see that sort of stuff. So everything that we own, we see, and we kind of drive through town and we own it. And so it's there. So I don't do research in other markets. I only master my market. So I don't know of any for appreciation. I like my market. So yeah, I don't evaluate other markets. I have other, that's why I kind of rely on Mike and Dion and guys like that, where they've done the work. They know their market cold. They know what they're doing there. And that kind of, that approach works out. That approach works out really well. Karen Molnar, thank you. You're welcome, Karen. Big BG Ack, new to your channel. Oh, very cool. I'm super pumped to have you here then. I sell real estate part-time in Kansas, and I'm hoping to get my first rental this year. Very awesome. Low-end rentals run 20 to 50K. Okay. Trying to decide between buying them outright or financing. So the reason I would finance, the reason why I think it's really important, okay, is because you need to start a relationship with a lender as soon as you possibly can. You need to, because you need to be proving to them through the process that you're good at what you do. You know what you're doing. You make good on your word. You follow through. You have good product. Sorry, I just got quiet there for no reason. Lube up the pipes. So yeah, I would be looking at a bank. I would be trying to find a lender. The reason why you need to find a lender is because you need to have a partner in this, right? As you expand, as you get bigger, you need to be in the position that really good investors get in, which is I could call my banker on a Sunday and she would pick up. I would never want to bother her on a Sunday, but if that were my only option, I know she'd pick up. She's amazing. And so you want to be hunting for that relationship, because much like a lot of real estate agents suck, a lot of appraisers suck, a lot of bankers suck. You need to be building your team and finding the right people that need to build their business, and they're going to build their business only by helping you build yours. So you need to be having conversations with as many people as you can possibly have, building your network, especially where you're just starting out. Build the network, build the network, build the network. Network is net worth. Okay. I have an amazing network, and that's what's helped me explode my net worth in the last 4 or 5 years. Always treated people right. Anytime that I looked for another contractor, they were like, hey, this guy's great. He'll pay you right away as soon as you're done. And he's not gonna, if you come into something that wasn't expected, like something behind a wall, I'm not one of those jerks where I'm like, yeah, figure it out. You gave me this price. Oh, that's a jerk move. Why would I do that? I want a long-term relationship with these guys. So I'm fair. I look at it and say, okay, all right. Yep. What was behind the wall? Not your issue. Was there some reason that you could have found it? 9 times out of 10? No. 1 out of 10? Yeah. But 9 times out of 10? No. So at that point, it's like, yep, nope, that's on me. Just tell me what the difference is, and, do the best that you can for me, just because obviously not an expense you were expecting, not an expense I was expecting, So let's, do what you can, help me out. But yeah, but I'm not expecting them to shoulder that. No, that's why contractors recognize and understand that they need to get paid for their hours and for their projects. As a landlord, I'm the one that owns the project at the end of the day. It's me. because it's my asset. It's my money. And that's why I will make more money off that property than anybody else's in the life of that loan and the life of that asset. That's why I'll make the most money, because I had the most risk. So hopefully that helps you. But yeah, love that you're investing. I think that's awesome, but I would be getting with the bank quickly. I would be getting with the bank, having that conversation, creating those relationships. The other thing you're going to have too that's kind of tough is 20 to 50, and be very careful of low end rentals. Please be careful. People go broke buying low end sometimes, and they do because the returns are there. But sometimes those low end rentals, you have people that marginal in those low end rentals. Again, it's not always the case, and everybody needs a place to live, but you need to see the status of the property and the tenant, and you need to know that you can A, make money doing it, and B, that it's not going to be a revolving door where you're constantly replacing tenants. That was one of the problems that I had with one of my buildings, is that I was constantly replacing tenants, and the building was nice. The location was junk. And I thought the location was decent. But then when we went through the Great Recession, a couple of buildings around me got bought, and they were bought by slumlords. So the places turned into crap. The tenants turned into crap. And 3 years in, it's a revolving door there for me now. It was horrible, 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 horrible. I can always tell when NFL football starts or is about to start. Everybody runs for the hill. Awesome. Don checking in. Nicodon, North Colorado Don checking in. Super excited to just saw you come up. He's doing some range work today, so I love it. I love it. I mean, we're out there, guys. We're out there earning money, right? We're out there trying to do our thing. So yeah, BG AC, let me know what your thoughts are there, and please feel free to ask follow-up question. Happy to help. Journey L. Diaz, do you recommend tile in the kitchen bathrooms, LVP throughout, or something else? LVP throughout. I don't like tile because it's gotten so unbelievably expensive. You can be looking at, even for cheaper tile, $3 a foot. But then by the time you add mortar in there and grout in there, you're probably another $1 a foot. And then you add, if you have to do anything to the floor, like a hardy backer or anything like that, that's for a 3x5 sheet of their decent stuff, that's like $12. So that's $3 or $4 a foot. So when it's all said and done, you're looking at what will end up being $8 or $9 a foot for okay tile, plus the install. An install can be $8, $9, $10 a square foot, depending on who you're using to do that. So one of those things that I would definitely keep in mind for sure. So I use LVP throughout. I use LVP in kitchens, living rooms, dining rooms, bathrooms. I use LVP everywhere. It's nice. It creates a consistency throughout the place. They can throw down area rugs anywhere they want to. I know it's durable because I buy the right product, and quality. Yeah, Marty, the flooring guy. I know I say it a couple times a show, but this is the stuff that I use. I like the product. I like it. I'll continue using it. The service has been fantastic. 725-212-8610 is this phone number. 725-212-8610. Again, 725-212-8610. This is their commercial stuff. It's 9-inch. This is their residential stuff. It's 7-inch, but it comes with pad installed in the back, and it's actually a decent quality pad. And as you can see here, they're not cheap, and they're certainly not flimsy. Per Crimson Night, see, like, I can't break it. And there's some stuff that you can break the edges off of. But per Crimson Night, it passes the katana test, i.e. it was hit with a katana. A sword, for those of you renting to ninjas. Their commercial product. Their commercial product is 30-year warranty when used in a residential application. Yeah, it's very good. It's very good stuff. So yeah, I highly recommend LVP throughout. Jason Mitchell. Hey, Jason. Have a rental with a finished attic with 2 bedrooms that has paint bubbling on the ceiling. Okay. Contractor says it's due to heat and proposes to open a ridge vent on a newer roof for $2,000. How would you handle? That's a good question. I'd actually have to see it to tell you. But what I would do is if that's what that roofer says, I would just ask 2 more roofers. Yep. That's not an issue I've handled in the past. And so if I'm ever seeing something that I haven't handled in the past, I have a couple go-to guys, hence network being your net worth. I have a couple go-to guys that I'll use. And I'll say, hey, what do you think? And then, yeah, what's it going to run me? For me, because I give them $50, $100, $200,000 of business a year. Guess what? They're like, yeah, I'll send a guy over there for a day and give me $500. Oh, $500, really? But yeah, I would usually have, if I don't have that relationship and it's something that none of my guys are like, yeah, no idea, dude. Or yeah, this should be the ballpark. I can't do the work, but this should be the ballpark. That's usually what I do is I'll get a couple, 2, 3 numbers. In fact, I'm doing that now I thought I was going to shed dormer, a second floor of a house. And my builder just told me, or my main construction guy just told me, yeah, don't do that. He goes, you're better off just cutting off the entire top floor and rebuilding it. I'm like, how much is that going to cost? He's like, I said, just give me a ballpark. He's like 80. I'm like, I cursed. I was like, okay, but I'm just trying to do the math now because it might make sense. It might make sense to do that based on what that property is going to be worth. So that's one of the things I'm looking for. So yeah, so we'll see how that goes. Pallavi Patel, but can it be expected with sump pump? How much expected? Okay, cool. Yeah, if you can handle that with a sump pump. So a sump pump is pretty easy. I've done a bunch of them. I put a ton of them in. I buy a rigid pump from Home Depot, which is a cast iron pump. That thing is a beast. Depending on how much water you get, it will handle it. I buy the 1 horsepower just because I want to make sure that if it ever starts to just literally flow in, that thing's going to kick right in and be pushing out. I think those things push out at 10 feet up. I think they push out like 12,000 gallons an hour. That's a lot of water. That's a lot of water. So I use the 2 horsepower rigid pump. And the way that I connect them is there's a piece that screws into the base pump. And based on the piece that screws into that base pump, I then do a pipe off a PVC pipe off of that's threaded. So thread that in. And then usually that piece is like 1 or 2 feet. Then I put in a one-way valve, a rubber one-way valve, like an Everbuilt one-way valve. I put that in the middle there. What that allows me to do is it allows me flexibility where then I put the rest of the PVC pipe off of that. And then I put that wherever I'm going to put that draining out. But what that flexibility there gives me is at any time, if the pump dies, guess what? All I have to do is undo that rubber one-way valve. I undo it at that point, at that juncture, pull the top piece out, then I can pull the whole pump out. Then I can unscrew that section that I had, and then I can just put another hot swap, what I call a hot swap pump. I have 2 of those pumps. Let's see, we're 2 hours. We only have 32 people watching, so I'll say something and probably offend people. Again, I know it's offensive. I'm warning you. So I have this contraption that I built. I took a 27-gallon black tote from Home Depot. One of the few things I'll buy from a big box store. So I got those 2 things. I actually put 2 of those rigid pumps in there and I mounted them in there. And then I did that same connection that I was talking about where they literally, the pipes rise up out of there. So I can go into any place and then actually connect soft hoses to them. When I connect those soft hoses to them and then I bring them outside the foundation or bring them outside a basement window. I built that when we were getting a massive flood rainstorm. And I knew I was going to need it the next day. And so I built it. I built it I built it in the middle of the night between 1 and 3 o'clock in the morning. And I finished it. And then the next day, one of my buddies, who's a contractor that we work with, he shows up and he's like, dude, this thing is freaking awesome. You got to make these and sell them. And I was like, I'm not making them and selling them. I'm not a manufacturer. And they said, but we put all the parts together. This thing is absolutely freaking awesome. And so that little setup is able to suck about 24,000 gallons of water an hour, that setup that I built. And so he's like, dude, we got to come up with a name for this. And I was like, okay. I'm so shouldn't say this, but I'm going to. He goes, we got to come up with a name for this. I'm watching the Sammy people drop off after I call it when I called it. He goes, we got to come up with a name for this thing. And he starts saying off like the Terminator or the Extricator or whatever. And I was like, I know what we're going to call it. He goes, what are we going to call it? And I go, we're going to call it Pelosi. Everybody lost it. So that's what we call that double pump that sucks twice as bad as anything else. We call it Pelosi because it sucks twice as much as anything else. Anyway, wow, I didn't lose a bunch of people watching. Oh, laugh my ass off. It was so funny. Yeah, so we love deploying Pelosi to the field. But yeah, so hopefully, so that should help you, Pallavi. Is that a pump? So to dig out a basin, put a basin. Yeah, a couple of people dropped off. That's fine. Whatever. So usually you have to get a hole in the ground, and then when you have your bucket subterranean or sub flush with the floor, I would put a plastic bucket in or a metal. One of the big ones, you can do those that they go like 4 feet deep, but you can also use just a regular like Home Depot bucket is what I've done. When I have that hole in there, and then I just put that there in the bottom. That's worked pretty well. Yeah, that's worked pretty well. So that's what I would do. Yep. I would put that in. And I mean, and then you're looking at the cost of that. So if you do it yourself, it's not bad at all. Like if you do it yourself, it's less than $300 worth of material. It's 2-inch PVC pipe, a couple pieces of that. It's a couple elbows. It's a one-way valve. It's a rigid, that pump is usually a couple $100. And then the bucket's $5. So yeah, if you're doing it yourself, it's about $300 worth of material. If you're hiring somebody to do it, a handyman should be able to put that together pretty quickly. And so then whatever you pay them, and I would figure probably, I've done a bunch of them, so I can do them in like less than 2 hours, but I would figure you're probably looking at $300, maybe $200-300 for them to do that for you. That's what I would guess. Yeah, that's what I would guess. Dustin at Lumberjack Landlord, what is the best way to network with agents, property management, etc. in my area? I'm just west of the Twin Cities in Wisconsin. Oh, cool. Local meetups. I would look at like your local meetup board. That's what I would do. Local meetup boards. And I would look for, almost every city has some sort of a landlord group. It's not like a public sponsored entity, but just kind of look around. But yeah, that's the first thing that I would do. I would also be networking with, I would look up rentals in your area on Zillow and then see the rental agents that appear the most often. And I would be contacting them and say, hey, I'm a landlord. I don't need your services now, but I'd like to understand how you do things, in the likelihood that when I do get to the point where I have some units that might be available, we could consider working together. That's what I would do. And then after that, you kind of get the ones where you like them. And then you get the ones where you like fall in love, where you're like, oh my goodness, you are my sunshine. You are exactly how I want to run my business. If I ever get in a position where I need to rent it or rent something, you're going to be my person. But you can also offer them and say, hey, listen, I rent out units as well, my own. If you're ever looking for, if I can ever help you in any way, just let me know. That's how I leave most phone calls, is if I can ever help you in any way, just let me know. And I help them. When they call. But yeah, that's how you start those relationships. And then usually I just have like the people that I reach out to them ever so often. And it differs depending on who they are. Yeah. Yep. That's how I would do it. So yeah, so hopefully, hopefully that helps. Yep. Networking groups, but specifically look at like meetups, meetups for sure. landlord associations, and rental agents. And you can ask the rental agents too, hey, is there an area that, is there something that, landlords, is there like a landlord group around here where people meet up? Absolutely. Yep. Those are the questions I'd be asking, and make sure, even again, Mike, I think set the goal like one day where he was like 5 a week. That's a lot. That's 250 people a year. That's a lot of people. I think more reasonable is a couple people a week. As you're building your business, you need to make some time to build your business. So I would reach out to a couple of people that you've never talked to before a week and have that conversation with them. Cool. Jerneil, thank you so much, Matt. You're welcome. And Dion, for all you do. Have to head out now. God bless. Thank you, Jerneil. Have a great rest of your Sunday. Matt Herbert, what would you do with a building that has vermiculite insulation in the attic? Leave it alone or remediate? I don't know. I've never had one. I don't know. First, I would look as there is a program like a class action lawsuit. So I had polybutylene in one of my properties. In fact, that flip that I did, not flip, the one that the awesome lumberjack project, that had polybutylene throughout the entire thing. For those of you who don't know what polybutylene is, it was kind of the first version of PEX, but they had issues with the connections where they would connect to other pipes, and those connections would fail. And because those connections would fail, they actually ended up with a class action lawsuit. And you don't want to ever let that exist in a house, because when those let go, it is all the water pressure, full force into your house, flooding it. So. I just heard my son take a digger out there. He's so tough. Honest to God with that kid. He's awesome. Samuel just took a digger. So I don't know, Matt Herbert, to answer your question. I've not dealt with it before. I would look to see if there's a program that would help you remediate it, number one. And number two, if there isn't that program, just understanding, I would probably talk to, I would also look to see if any tenants ever sued a landlord because there was that in the attic. That's what I would probably look at. Yeah, asbestos base. Yep. But not at all friable. Yep. Yeah. Thankfully, I've not run into it in any of my spots. Yep. Yeah. Usually the rule for me is if it's an area where people are going to be, I want to get rid of the asbestos. If it's not an area where people are going to be, I let it be, so basement pipes that have, in our homes that are old asbestos, covering one pipe steam. If there's like laundry, dryer, laundry down there or another area down there for storage, in that case, I usually remediate. In the case where there's nothing down there but a systems room, and the only person that's going to be accessing that is like another professional, then I don't bother, because it's expensive. Yep. Yeah. Jason Mitchell. Sorry, hold on one second. Thank you for the response. Great content. Oh, you're very welcome. Appreciate that, Jason. Come back anytime. Happy to have you. Crimson Knight 921. So when buying a place in Manchester, know who owns the buildings around you. Luckily for this one, I just bought, there are very few multifamily nearby, and people have nice lawn and bushes in front. Yep, that's exactly right. Yeah, look at the neighborhood for sure. Not all are created equal for sure. 3 rules of real estate: location, location, location. Yep. And 3 rules of real estate investing are different. 3 rules of real estate investing is location, cash flow, and nobody better say appreciation. It really comes down to location and cash flow. I think location is important, but it's not as important because you can own C-class and make plenty of money, and still provide a service for tenants. JC Blast. Oh, that was about the Pelosi thing. JC Blast, Wolfmaster, thank you. Pallavi, thank you for tons of info. You're very welcome. Oh, glad you like the joke too. Yeah, Jason Mitchell too. Thanks, guys. And Crimson Knight. Yeah, thanks. It's awesome. I never want to flood, but now I'm more okay with it. we have to when we have to break out Pelosi, I'm more okay with it. Yeah, it's good. Larry Chong, can you elaborate what you said? Section 8 systems having loopholes for abuse. Yeah. As landlords, in addition to building relationships, what are the best ways to avoid voucher holders from trashing your pad? All right. So I will preface this by saying, I think largely speaking, I think Section 8 and housing voucher programs, I think they get a bad rap. I do, just honestly do. That being said, it's certainly the scenario where 10 or 20% of the people in that program trash the program and are, but that's on the 10 or 20%. It's not on the 80%. 80% fine, 20%, 10 to 20% not fine. Again, you can differ all you want. Here's my experience, and this is what I always share with you guys. I did the math. I looked at our system because we were migrating all of our data into a new system. The typical Section 8 tenant has 100% more requests and issues than my non-Section 8 tenants. Again, I'm not trying to paint any brush, guys. I'm just giving you facts. I'm just giving you numbers. It doesn't mean they're bad people. It doesn't mean anything other than factually, these are what the numbers showed. I still rent to Section 8. I still rent to the housing programs, but factually 100% more issues. I don't know what that's from. I haven't figured it out yet. I'm studying the data because I can't figure it out. I don't understand it, but 100% more problems, reported issues. And it's, a lot of it is little nuanced things that I think other tenants I've seen take care of in the past, like a door not closing right. They'll break out a screwdriver and they'll adjust it themselves as opposed to calling the landlord. You can call me, I'll do it, but I'm not going to rush out there to, adjust a cabinet door. Like, that's not going to happen. I'll wait until there's a couple things that we have to fix there. I know Dion does the same thing. Yeah. Yep. So, so my experience so far, honestly, what I love about it is the rent shows up every month. What I don't love about it is I have one city where the administrator of the program is spectacular. She's amazing. Kathy is amazing. She is amazing at what she does. She stays on top of stuff. She recognizes that she's in partnership with the landlord. She's not calling to chastise me or yell at me. She'll also push back on the tenants and say, really, guys, really? That's not acceptable. Second thing, they want to know if their tenants aren't paying their percentage of the rent. They want to know that. That's really good. Third thing, they want to know if they're being a disturbance or being a problem, and you can get thrown out of the Section 8 program. You can absolutely get thrown out of it. Yep. And once you get thrown out, you're done. In that state, you're done. Done. So I have a tenant that I had to have a very hard conversation with her. And I said, listen, every 4 or 5 days, you're blowing up my phone with some issue with the neighbor in a house next door that I don't know, or the person downstairs, or the hot water lasted 12 minutes for a shower, even though they had 4 other kids that just took a shower before that. Like constantly with constant. I just said, listen, I said, you know what it sounds like then? It sounds like this isn't the right place for you, that you should probably move out. I'm happy to help you. She's like, no, I don't want to do that at all. I was like, well, okay, well, come renewal time, I'm not going to renew to you if it's constantly like this, because all of these things that you're bringing me are all things that you need to be able to have skills and talk to your neighbor, talk to the downstairs neighbor, have a conversation. You guys live in the same building, it's shared space. Have a conversation. I can't have to litigate and mitigate all those issues for you constantly. And since we had that conversation, It's dropped way down. All of the real maintenance issues I took care of, and took care of them very quickly within a few days. But some of it, it was like, like a tile, like one of those tiles, like had a drip on it. Okay, we'll come out. We want to take a look. We took a look and we're like, oh, that's interesting. Yeah, there's nothing going on there, but something happened up there where it looked like it had like a little stain on it, but it was a stain that had been there forever. So we changed out the tile. Again, we want to know about these things, but let's be reasonable. They I think are far less understanding. I think they're far less understanding about waiting for maintenance. If they lived in central housing where they have a full-time maintenance guy and all he does is walk around fixing stuff, that's not the way any of these other homes are. I have to hire I don't have any employees. I have to hire the contractor. I have to call them. I have to send them out. A lot of times we'll go look at it ourselves to make sure it's an actual issue before we have somebody showing up. But I find that my experience so far, and this is based on 4 units, was they filed far more complaints. There were always, every single time there were issues with other tenants. Every single time, all 4 of them have had issues with other tenants. That's not true. 3 out of 4. And yeah, that's been my experience so far. Yep. So yeah. Larry, where'd you go? Okay. Section. Yeah. So voucher holders, as far as voucher holders from not hurting your place, no idea. I haven't figured that out yet. I would say that credit is the most important thing, because if they do trash your place, you show pictures, you can get them thrown out of the program. Number 1. And that's their lifeline. That's their lifeline. That is their lifeline. Yep. That's their lifeline. So, I have the conversation with them, is that if I'm showing up and I'm like, hey, you're not taking very good care of things. There's this, that, and the other issue. I need you to take care of this better. Otherwise, when it comes time to renew, I'm not going to renew. Because it's still a 1-year lease. We still have the right to renew or not renew. And the guaranteed money every month in the bank account is nice. And I guess I've been told that Section 8 and voucher program tenants stay longer. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. There certainly is a shortage in housing. That's for sure. And I know that of the 20 requests that I get on any given unit in 48 hours, I can tell you that probably 6 or 7 of them are Section 8. And it's because they can't find any housing out there. So yeah. I think that program largely needs to be revamped, personally, just based on my experience with what I've done. And it really does come down to the administrator of the program for that town. One I have is spectacular. The other one is absolute hot garbage. And I will not renew any of my units with her at all, ever. Nope. She has a myriad of issues, days, sometimes a week to get back to me when it's something that I'm reaching out to her for, something for her tenant. Just brutal, absolutely brutal. They flagged us because we replaced a refrigerator for a tenant. We had it dropped off, installed, but we didn't unplug the old refrigerator because she still had a bunch of food in there. She moved this stuff over. I said, okay, fine. We'll pick that up the next couple of days from your apartment. We'll grab it and go on our way. What did that tenant do? That tenant decided to put it in the hallway. Now, it wasn't a tiny hallway. It was a big, huge, massive landing that's probably 12 feet by 12 feet. And they put the refrigerator off in the corner so the crew could come and get it easier. And so she could have it out of her apartment. Fine, whatever. Section 8 flagged me for that as it being a safety risk. What safety risk? It's not plugged in. It's in the hallway. It's not stopping fire clearances at any level. It was just a joke. And they didn't notify me that they were going to inspect. They gave me no heads up. The tenant gave me no heads up. So it was just like complete and total lack of communication. And the crazy thing is that tenant had just put it out the day before and we were picking it up the day after. And I still got something in my file that created a safety risk. Like, give me a break, whatever. So yeah, so we'll see. We'll continue to evaluate if we'll continue to do that program. But so far, my experience with that city has not been good. They are also overseeing a tenant that just moved out with no notice. Zero notice. We went to go do a repair this morning. Yeah, that's right. On a Sunday morning, repair something for a tenant. We said, they go, hey, maybe you guys don't know, but next door moved out. We're like, what? Like, yeah, they moved out. Okay. They gave no notice. They didn't pay their January rent. They just decided to split. Okay. That's the way you want it. And that is a Section 8 unit. So yeah, that administrator is garbage. And I don't think she'll be in that job very long either, because you have to partner with your landlords. You have to partner with your landlords if you're in that position. And if they feel like you're treating them like they're there to serve you as opposed to you're there to work with them, no one's going to work with you but slumlords. I'm not a slumlord. My units are very nice. They're expensive. I would live in any of my units. Any unit that I've bought, that I bought it empty, I would live in any of those units. Any of the units that had people in them, I'm not going to go in there and redo them with people living in there. Ugh. So yeah, so I was a little bit pissed off. As you can tell, I wasn't very happy. And quite frankly, whatever. Don't get any more of my units. It's fine. All good. All good. I will be more than happy to place them with the other town that also does business in your town. And then you can answer to the question of, why does the town next door have 10 units in your town? Why does that happen? That's why it happens. That's exactly why it happens. So yeah, that's what I have to say about that. Let's see, sorry. Let me just scroll up a little bit. I saw Chris Miller ask a question. Oh, Crimson Knight, Pelosi XD. Yes. Pallavi Patel, thank you so much, Matt. This info is going to help me. Awesome. And your kids a lot. Good. I'm glad. I'm glad, Pallavi. Welcome anytime, my friend. Happy to have you here. Chris Miller, Matt, I'm able to find good deals every now and then on MLS, but I keep losing out to offer without inspection contingencies. How do I get to the point where I'm comfortable without inspection? You don't. You need to have bought a lot of property and gone through. I probably did inspections for 15 years and rehabbed between 30 and 40 units before I started feeling comfortable with being able to walk a property on my own and understand what was there and how I could get got. Do not do that now. That is too risky. Common sense is the better part of valor. Do not do deals like that unless you really know what you're doing construction wise. Don't do deals like that. That is a bad deal that's that bad could blow you up. So don't do a deal like that. Yep. Wait until you've got years and years and years in the industry, then you can start doing no inspection deals. Yep. Matt Herbert. Yep. Vermiculite asbestos. Yep. Moon Weasel. Just want to say thank you. Saw one of your older walkthrough videos and your don't go cheap message hit me at the right time during a bathroom renovation. Helped motivate me to do it right. Very cool. Thank you guys. I appreciate that. That's awesome. That's what they're there for. I want to make sure that I'm giving you guys guidance. Don't cheap out on some of this stuff. It's not worth it. It's just not worth it. Spend in a lot of these cases, spend the right money. Chester Williams at Chris Miller. Never be comfortable with losing out to offers where the contingent buyer waives the inspection. Due diligence is critical. It could turn a great deal into an alligator. Yep, Chester nailed it. That's right. Cash flow, location, and patience. Yeah, that's a good third one for sure. Yeah, especially in this market. For those of you who are struggling winning a deal, please look at my reverse offer strategy. The reverse offer strategy is literally bulletproof. If you have a legit chance at winning that deal, that reverse offer strategy will give you the opportunity to be the one to say no, not the seller. Look at the reverse offer strategy. That's critical. Pallavi Patel. I'm going to inform my daughter the name of her combination sewage. Nice. Nice. That's pretty funny. David G. Hey, David G. Can you or some three amigos talk about top 5 things newbies might miss when walking a prospective rental property? Yeah, I can recommend that. Sure. Top 5 things. Okay. So I will give you my top 5 right now. My top 5 right now. And these are based on things that will cost you the most to fix. Roof, heating system, windows. Depending on your market, things like lead-based paint and asbestos, understanding if those are present. And do not test for them, because no one will ever accept a deal that makes you want to, that it's contingent upon testing for lead, because the rule is if it's older than 79, there's like a almost 100% chance it's got lead something there. So that's a fast way to lose all your deals. Most everybody never tests for it. They just say it's unknown, because they won't test for it, because then it confirms the negative that it does in fact have lead. So heating system, roof, windows, and then smaller things are if the heat system goes into the chimney, making sure the chimney is lined. That's the other thing. And then the 5th thing is a 5th thing for me would be stuff in the basement. Is it all old copper piping? If you're looking at the copper piping, does it have a bunch of green on a bunch of the different joints, which means that it's probably leaking a little bit, and that's going to be a future problem. The cast iron pipe that actually all your sewage and drain water travels through, I'd be looking at that. Take a look at the bottom of it, making sure it's, if it's all rusted out, if it's got stalactites dropping, it means it's seeping. So yeah, all that stuff would be kind of basement stuff. And then I guess the other thing, I would look at the panel, look at the panel too. Look and see if your outlets are grounded. If your outlets aren't grounded on the first floor, it's kind of no big deal, because you can always get access to them pretty easily with an electrical perspective. But obviously, like in my area, there's something called knob and tube, which is really, really old. And most insurance companies won't insure houses with knob and tube. So you want to kind of look at your outlets. Are they grounded outlets? Are they not grounded outlets? I would also have them tested, like get like a little electrical tester. I buy them at Home Depot. They're like 10, 12, 15 bucks. Plug them in, hit the button. It will tell you if it's a grounded outlet or not. So a lot of times you can see that it's a grounded outlet, but it's not actually grounded. Well, then who cares? Who cares? Meaning that it's not a grounded outlet, even though it's got a 3-prong there. So yeah, those are the big things. So the top 5 things that as a rookie, you need to make sure that just from a maintenance or from a housing perspective, forget about if you got all your market stuff, right? This is assuming that you're doing all the right stuff from a market perspective. You have a buy box, you know what your budget is, you can figure out yield, return on capital, all of those other things you've kind of got all that stuff. Then looking at the house when it comes to actually walking it and looking at it and evaluating it as an asset. I just bought a place, roof within the last 5 years. It's a duplex, roof within the last 5 years, 2 heating systems within the last 10. Cast iron has been replaced. Kitchens have been replaced. Chimney has been lined. And electrical is all circuit breaker. That's all the big expensive stuff, right? So I know that I'm good on the roof for probably 25 more years at least. I know I'm good on the heating systems because they're 1-pipe steam. I know I'm good on the heating systems so long as I take care of them and maintain them. I know I'm good in there for at least probably 20, 25 years there as well. Yeah. So those are the big, and then the electric panel, all circuit breaker, no knob and tube. And so, yeah, I'm good there too. Those are the big things. Those are the 5 things that I would look at when I'm looking at a property. Yep. For newbies, yeah. Chester Williams at David G. I like that idea. I'd recommend to Matt, Dion, and Michael to each walk a property and cast their expert eye over it and put up a video of the walkthrough. Chester, I think you'll find those videos on my channel, actually. You'll find some of those videos on my channel because I do rehab. And so when I walk you through on the product, I'm walking you through based on what I'm swapping. So David G, you can look at my renovation videos and take a look at that. And Crimson Knight just added, if it's not grounded, you can put GFCI breakers to avoid rewiring. You can. It ends up being really expensive when those breakers are 40 or 50 bucks a piece. And the other issue too that you have is, or for me, is that if it's from the first floor, I would just pop up the new wire and then you know it's grounded and then you know you're good. And then a lot of times what you'll find with those GFCI breakers too is you'll run out of space. A lot of those old panels, they might be 20 slot panels. Most of the panels that I put in now, I don't even bother. I put in 40s. I put in 40 slot panels because I want things on fewer circuits. So that way, every single bedroom, a person can put in an air conditioner if they so choose, because it doesn't have central air. It's one pipe steam. So I'm not going to have an HVAC system. So I want to make sure every single bedroom can put in their own AC and not, bring the system to its knees. So that's what I like to do. And so in a lot of cases for that, I'll just drop a new wire specifically, right by the one by the window and say, yeah, that's the window for the AC. Okay, I thought, oh yeah, they are fairly expensive. Yep, Chester, they're very expensive. Yeah, 40, 50 bucks. Yep. And that's why for me, it's like, yeah, you can have that breaker, but a lot of times, how old is the panel? The panel might be 30 or 40 years old. And those newer breakers are newer, and a lot of times they click into that same thing, but sometimes they don't. So yeah, for me, my preference is I'd rather run a new line. If I'm doing it, I would rather run a new line. Ski is $11,000 for a complete electrical reno on 1,100 square foot single family home, reduced price, minimum drywall repair. So happy to hear good news about the baby. Thank you. Dion's 3 Fs on opinions was hilarious. 3 amigos rock. We are blessed. Awesome. Very cool. Thank you, Ski. I think your number's about right. I don't think it's horrible. Yeah, I don't think it's horrible. I would say are they swapping all the, so Ski, a couple questions. Are they swapping all, yeah, so they're swapping all the outlets, all the plates, all the wire, Romex. So 14.2, 14.3, 12.2, 10.2, 8.3, and all your breakers, all of them AFCI breakers. Make sure that's true too, AFCI breakers. And for electrical and anything like that, make them pull a permit. Yep. Make them pull a permit because the inspector will also help you, making sure that they did it the right way and that they just didn't do it the fastest way. So 11 grand. Yeah. If it covers all those things I talked about and they pull a permit and then they have to do a rough inspection and a final inspection, I think that's probably ballpark. 3-bedroom, right? Is it a 3-bedroom? 1,100 square foot home? Yeah. I mean, it's about right. It's about right. Kind of, retail-ish. Yeah. Yeah. Crimson Knight, which town is the good one and the bad one for future reference? I won't say the bad one, but I will say the good one. The good one is Dover. The good one's Dover. Kathy is fantastic. Pallavi Patel, is Section 8 is year-to-year rental program or set period of time over a year in case of renewal rental policy annually? No, so they still sign a lease. So I still do 12-month calendar. The thing to know is that their rental increases come in January 1 is when they're effective. November is when they're figured. So I have my leases expire for Section 8. I typically have them expire in February because I have to also give 60 days notice. So December 1st, by that point, I should have what the new number is. And then I give them notice by February 1st, your rent is going to this, the new number from section 8. And then I know with some advance notice if that person's going to vacate or if they're going to stick around. Crimson Knight, yeah, we covered that one. Yeah, GFCI breakers more expensive. Yeah, Wolfmaster 82. One thing that I would look at is the circuit breaker brand. Federal Pacific breakers from 60s, 70s have been known to cause fires. Wolfmaster 82 is 100% correct. Federal Pacific, you actually cannot buy parts for. If you're buying them secondary market, and they're 100%, I'm almost 100% they're illegal. Yeah. Would have been an extra 600 feet of wire to rewire the second floor. True, but at the end of the day, it's done. So I don't disagree with you. I can see both ways. I just, for me, when I've had second floor units or second floor wire that's not grounded, I've just paid to have the wire run and then just do a normal breaker. That's what I've continued to do. But back to the Federal Pacific, yeah, 100% agree. I actually bought a building that has 12 units. It's got 12 disconnects that are Federal Pacific, and then it has 12 panels that are Federal Pacific. Yep. So, and they're all stab locks. Stab locks are the ones, what Wolfmaster is talking about is the stab lock breaker. What ends up happening is, and this is, you can see them in the lawsuits online. I'm not, breaking any news here. But informationally, these stab lock breakers, when they are in and there's a surge, they've been known to stay locked in the on position. They keep on going, then they end up causing a fire because they don't actually trip. So yeah, they're bad. And then because of that, it's caused fires. So they don't flunk you on insurance for having them. But I'm going through the process of, I'm going to be renovating and updating all those and doing that work for sure. Yep. Doing that work for sure. All right, we're coming up on 3 hours here, 2:56. So we've got a few minutes left. I'm happy to answer any additional questions you guys might have. If any of this was helpful, please make sure you hit the like button if you haven't already. And if you have any questions, I'm happy to. Chester, about to head out to finish working on Michael's course. Very cool. Glad I got to check out the last half hour of the 3-hour marathon. You're very welcome. Skis, same single family home, complete plumbing redo, parts only. Bill is a plumber, so helps offset electric price. Okay. Yep. My handyman is the best, $15 an hour in Cali. Holy cow. No, you can't have them. Dear God, I'd start doing business in Cali for a $15 an hour helper. Honestly, what I would do if you're paying him $15 an hour, you make sure you bonus that dude. Even my $20 an hour guys, they get bonused. It's usually because they're usually doing the crappy work. And so I bonus those guys, certainly on a project where we do okay, for sure. So yeah, for sure. Crimson Knight, it's more the labor part. Yeah, much less labor to replace Blakers. Yeah, for sure. Totally agree with you. Richard McGuff, what software do you use for management of properties? So Richard, welcome to the channel again. Door Loop. We just selected Door Loop this last week. Yep. We just selected Door Loop this last week. That was our choice. We like Door Loop. It was a great product, great support. We're actually onboarding all of our data migrating all of our data into Door Loop this week, actually. It has tenant portals. You can literally take your credit card statement and start assigning the charges to different properties. Very, very easy. Should absolutely make our life a whole lot easier now that we've expanded so much. So yeah, Door Loop is what we use. Stuff around your size. Actually, I don't know how many properties that you are, but if you're kind of, less than 20 or less than 30, I hear a lot of good things about Cozy, Rent Ready, and there are a couple of others. For me, I wanted kind of more. And so we just have a lot more stuff in there where you can do automatic ACH payment and maintenance and can handle that volume. All the texting and emails are through the system, sending out mass emails, sending out mass texts. All that stuff has just been a lot, was really good in Door Loop. Door Loop, though, it doesn't make sense unless you have at least 100 units. Their base price is $280 a month. So it's, 3,000 bucks, 3,300 bucks a year, 3,400 bucks a year. So yeah. Yep. We use Door Loop. We use Door Loop. I'll let you know how it is in the next few months. Hope it doesn't suck. The good news is we got all our data to get into there. We know what that process is if we ever have to get our data out of there. So that's one of the things we have to look at. Yeah. Pallavi Patel, thank you again on Section 8. You're very welcome. Again, I'm sure people will have different experiences, but that's been my experience so far. And I just tell you what my experience is. Antoine Davis, do you ever add bedrooms to unfinished basements? I don't. And the reason that I don't is because I don't buy anything in my market new enough to have a basement that doesn't get at least some waters. When you get like the torrential rain once or twice a year, they all get a little bit of water. Yeah. Yep. So I would only do one in a new basement that I knew didn't get water, and I just don't buy any properties new enough to do that. So I don't. Chester Williams, thank you as always. You're very welcome. Richard McGuff, awesome. Thanks. You're very welcome. Once you achieved financial independence, what became your motivation to stack higher, getting to 100 plus units and counting? You get to a point where it becomes where managing it is far more difficult than acquiring. So I know my market inside now. I can price a house better than 99.5% of the brokers in the market. I know what rents are. I know what the rent pool is. I know the good locations, the bad locations, the up and comings. You just get to a point where you know everything's so unbelievably cold that stop using that skill. Nope. That skill makes it that much easier. And then you create systems and processes that allow you to grow. So just adding another duplex onto the pile, really not that hard. Really isn't. We have a process. We after we close, we drive by. We drop off letters for all the tenants. Basically I shared a sample of that, what that letter looks like. What are the problems that you're having? What are the issues that you have with the unit? What can you tell me about it? Introducing us and who we are, that we self-manage. Send me your email information, send me your cell phone number. We get them set up right away. We set up a group text between myself, my wife, immediately with the tenant with each unit. We then set one up for the entire building, letting them know, hey, we're going to use this to also set up a text for the entire building so everyone knows, if there's a problem. That way everyone gets notified. Yeah, so it just becomes kind of clockwork, right? Just commonplace, just boom, one after the other. So it's really, really good. So we just keep on going because you get to a point where you're dialed in, and it's not that hard to add another one. It's much more about, I do my work every single day, looking at my market, 10, 20 minutes, understand what's coming on the market, what stuff is trending for, what stuff is selling for, looking at my affordability index, which is still under 10. So that's why we sell single family homes. We have one left. That's it. The rent's going to be great on it. But yeah, if the affordability index continues that low and prices continue to rise, if they have some sort of a first time home buyer program, I likely will sell that house. How could I not? Like, it's already worth, I don't know. I own it outright right now, and it's worth probably 3.25 to 350. I mean, imagine what I could do if I 1031 that. The problem is, if I 1031 that now, what am I going to buy? There's not enough out there for me to buy. It just doesn't make sense. So I'm going to refi it now, rent it out. We'll make, on that single family, we'll make 10% because I'll leave enough in the property to only make 10% or to make 10%. So I won't get all the cash out, and then we'll just ride it and we'll see what happens. That's what we'll do. So Larry, always great questions, Larry. I appreciate your questions. So yeah, we'll continue to stack higher. We'll continue to get more properties. We'll continue to add. We'll continue to do that for sure. Just because we now have all the systems in place. Going from, it's just like building a company, so going from 0 to 10 units was really hard. 10 to 25 was a little bit easier. 25 to 50 was a little bit easier. 50 to 60, we kind of stopped there just because of what was going on with COVID and everything. But then 60 to 100 was really not that hard. We had everything in place. We had contractors we were using regularly for maintenance issues. And so it was really just coming down to the deals, and I will buy great deals almost every time. So my last 7 deals all have over a 20% return. My worst is just over 20%. My best is just over 40%. It's like 42.7. So yeah, I'll buy those deals all day long, all day long. Yep, I will. So yeah, that's the story. Broke the record with this one. Which one, Angel? This one was only 3 hours. So I'm not sure what record I broke. Oh, maybe 58 likes. I don't think that's a record, but maybe. I don't know. I'm the worst. The only reason I care about the likes is because I want to make sure that I'm on par with what you guys are asking of me. And because it helps the YouTube algorithm. So I know other people looking up with stuff where they're looking kind of like with questions. I want to be here, answer people. This is kind of why I don't do one-on-one consulting. A lot of guys like to do that one-on-one consulting because they can charge so much for it. It doesn't feel right for me right now. So I rather give my 3 hours on a Sunday to a whole bunch of people as opposed to 3, and give them a big, huge bill at the end. And you can still ask your questions here. So hopefully that works out. Guys, thanks so much. It was an awesome weekend. Thanks for hanging out with me. This week, I'm sure we'll do Mike. I just haven't figured out when we're going to do it yet based on being gone. We're going to try. But, yeah, Larry, that was a great suggestion too on the triple deal deep dive. What's really funny is that Mike, I know Mike's going to buy more this year, which is I'm excited to hear and listen. But yeah, I closed on a deal on Friday. I close on another one next Wednesday. Not this coming, but the following Wednesday. And then I close on another one the first week of February. So I got a lot of deals that we've done where the numbers were just ridiculous. And I'm sure you saw it, Larry, too. I had one that was 5 hours, Angel. 5 hours, bro. 5 hours. I had one that was 5 hours. Literally, admittedly, after I finished that 5 hours in a row, I was in pain. My head hurt. My voice wasn't too bad. My head hurt. I was tired. I got out of that and I was just like, talking for 5 hours is just not natural. So yeah, that was kind of funny. But yeah, Larry, that was a great idea on the deep dives. I love doing those because I know for me in my position, that was the thing I struggled with the most was people not sharing with me the real numbers and the real process. So I was like, I don't know if I'm killing it or if I'm not killing it. Like, yeah, maybe on the buy side, I did pretty well, but I have no idea like projects I'm going to do and what money I should spend where and what's going to give me better return on my capital and how much should I get in make ready costs. All of those things were really up in the air, and hearing what other investors are getting for deals in their market. I always like to, I don't know, I'm a big kind of cheerleader. I love hearing deals from Mike and Dion and hearing their returns. I love it. Envious of Mike from a perspective that he can do single families and I can't do single families. There's no return on them here. So yeah, envious of Dion just because I love that because he kind of dispersed his portfolio, which I really like that idea too. For me, we just had a little bit different criteria, but that's why I love talking to those guys and working with them. Always great ideas, great investors. Yeah. Yeah, and I love understanding other markets. Matthew Paris's wife is from the Ukraine. We talked about as they start to learn that, I want to totally have them on the channel and learn about Ukraine. I'm never going to learn that anywhere else, and I can't do the research myself. So yeah, I think it's awesome. But guys, have an awesome week. Really appreciate y'all. I'm going to spend some more time with my kids, and and watch some football. So yeah, you guys have a great week. Appreciate y'all. Again, thanks again for the time, and look forward to next week. Yeah, yeah, I like learning from the other guys. It's awesome. It's really good. So cool. Appreciate you guys' time. I'm gonna end the stream now. And like I said, on your way out, please, with wiping your feet on the floor, just make sure you also give me a like. Appreciate you guys. Have a great week. Take care, everybody.